of the world, don't be what let it go, but something about your style makes me wanna man up. We should fill our cups, catch a flick and do some stuff. I'm used to one night stands, but with you that's not enough. I don't wanna front, I just wanna see ya. Please give me a sign, yeah. Please give me a sign if you wanna come.
It's amazing how much I love betting on esports. It's so cool. What's even better is when I can use Cash Out. Wait, you didn't know about Cash Out? Cash Out is when you can get your stake back even when your bet is going against you. Just one hit and your money is safe. So go to Loot.bet to cash out now.
Good morning, folks. Welcome back to another day of Loot.bet action as we're here with Season 7 going through our Swiss stages. And it's 2 more best of 3s for your wonderful eyes to feast on today. And we're starting things off with a nice simple one of the two. It's Pact versus Espada. And we are going to be here on Nuke, our first map of this best of 3 series. Joining me along for all of the ride to help me cover all of this glorious content is going to be the wonderful Squid, who I believe has some pretty interesting thoughts on this best of 3.
Always got interesting thoughts. That was a very chill opening. I feel like I'm floating across the water on a lagoon. Just chilling, lying back. Maybe I'm just thinking about being back asleep. I don't know. I don't know. This is very early in the morning for me, Flakes. I've been caught a little off guard by this one. Of course, this series, of course, was planned weeks ago. So I shouldn't be caught off guard by any means, but I am nonetheless, because I'm a massively irresponsible person. And yeah, we've got 2 series of Counter-Strike to cast, so I'm ready to get into the first. Pact versus Espada. I don't know if I've necessarily got many interesting thoughts about the balance of this series. I think on paper, Espada should be taking it. They've had some good performances. I actually saw them play yesterday against Gambit Youngsters in one of the other leagues going on. And they had just such a convincing performance. I think it's 16-2 on Overpass to finish things off. It was a 3-mapper, but Espada have really stepped up recently. I remember casting them in a CIS qualifier maybe 6 months or so ago, and they were massively just unimpressive. Really boring team to watch. Really slow style. They weren't mounting very many wins either. They seem to have flipped the switch in the last couple of months, and that's super impressive. I'm glad to see that kind of improvement from them. I look at their graph, their ranking development on HLTV, and it's just a straight line upwards. It's just an Alton Towers roller coaster. Up, up, up. Yeah, from 130th, from 123rd in December, which is probably about the time I last got the opportunity to cast them, when they were really just trash. And then, yeah, 41st now. So massive improvement.
I think the big thing as well for this Espada team is it's about just bringing that team together. The players themselves have been in what feels like the scene for, even at a domestic level, for a long time. It's just a case of bringing those 5 players into a team and seeing how they can play in a team environment, getting the scrims under their belt, getting them that map knowledge, and turning it into something they really can fight. That takes some time, but since December they've had some really good runs, and they've shown that they do have what it takes to be a team worthy of competition. I'm not too surprised to see them as one of our stronger teams, to be honest, within Loot.bet Season 7. I definitely put them as a potential contender for our playoffs.
There's a guy in the Twitch chat. His name is Geordie B123456789, who's desperately trying to convince me that there's a spider on my shoulder.
It's because there is in fact a spider on your shoulder.
No, there wasn't. I'm one with the arachnids.
Well, let's see if the USP is one with a headshot. There's the answer. Not quite. Tophic, Dexter, they both will chime in, and just like that, Dexter proves that he can land a few USP shots. Lovely stuff. That's a quad kill from him on a retake.
Yeah, and it feels like Dexter's probably one of the more potent forces on this Espada side. I think he can pretty much outmatch most players, especially in this Swiss system in this group stage before we get into the mix with those playoff teams coming through. Yeah, look at him just laser players down on that A-bomb site. 1-0. The dream start. On your city side, you always want to be getting off to a good head. Obviously, 1-0, exactly where they want to be. The AWP comes out incredibly early here. That's just off the back of 4 frags. Of course, he can invest that Kevlar as well. Just body armor with the single smoke. And up against a fairly wholesome buy on Pact. I get this. I definitely understand why you'd throw in the AWP early.
Yeah, I think on a map like Nuke, it's much more useful than it is on some other maps. Like, go over, say, an early AWP. Or something a little bit closer range. Probably not ideal, but in this one, definitely understand. That said, the Galil proving to be quite the weapon here. A lot of damage sources outside of their map, as despite being 3 HP and 22 HP, Pact are actually putting up quite the fight.
Yeah, Dexter unfortunately can't find any angles here. Finally nails away the bomb, and well, that ends things outside.
That's what you want to see, that AWP just carving into action there, finding both of those frags. Shuts down the round in its entirety, leaving just Subol to try and see if he can claw something back with a deagle here, but it's so low that he is going to try and just go face first with a deagle here. Could mean that even the AWP will come his way here if he can land a 1D, to be honest, but it's a pretty far stretch. And in the end, not going to come through. Espada will grab themselves a quick 2-0 as they continue to build things forward. And see the AWP here just showing off its prowess. It goes to 2 quick 1v1s.
So the issue for Pact's T-side in that specific second round is even though they had Galils, they decided to go outside with only 1 smoke. For me, that's a real problematic situation. You need at least 2 smokes to go for the secret cross, and instead it leaves you vulnerable to this AWP. You see Dexter getting 4 kills in the pistol, 3 in that follow-up. He's firing on all cylinders right now, and he's a player that you have to shut down early if you want any sort of chance in this one. No kills come through from the poles here in round number 3. The blocks don't merit any results. And I want to see a tightening up of this attack. Those smokes need to be placed here in round number 4. That round 2 blunder needs to be a thing of the past. You can see that they finally got that equipment in hand. 4 smokes for that T side. 4 Molotovs as well. So there's an open opportunity to try and take it into this A-bomb site. Still a bonus round for Espada. If they can take this 4-0 at this point, then yeah, every opportunity that this scoreline starts to snowball out of control, along with this cash line. They don't need to survive with exceptionally high numbers here in round number 4. They don't need to carry through all 5 of these weapons by any means. But AWP would be a good start. There's the first MP9 taken away, and Goofy's just not expecting that second man. Such a smart setup from Espada.
4 and 3, but a slightly more well-equipped Espada side. Looks like there'll only be 1 play they can make here, and I can understand this. It's the quick vent dive. Molly to force the player out as well. Just guarantees the play in towards the B side. There's a little door open. From there, it's all going to be about getting that immediate bomb plant. Patsy just an inch above them, but can't really do anything here. Just has to play it nice and defensively. Allow the plant to come through. Just scope out the site. His job here basically is to call to his team exactly where they can be. Pretty much communicating, right, they all have to be within big door or playing down through alley, but they're nowhere else. They're not on the site. They're not facing through anywhere else. It's all about these little doorways, these little rafters. So with that information given, they will try and kick off this retake pretty quick with some big smokes coming through. I'll take the jewels as well, and it should be pretty cut and dry as Pact can't see a thing, even with the players that are still here to fight. Their smoke's off, they're flashed off, they're mollied off. Simply impossible for them to hold on to the round.
And a massively impactful one for Espada right there. You saw that they went into it with a pair of Famises and a pair of MP9s along with that AWP. Not only does the AWP get the opportunity to save, obviously with only dropping one player there from Pact, but they're able to trade up 3 of those other weapons. Now they've got 3 AKs in hand. They've not had to go for any investment. This is pretty much the worst case scenario for Pact. They've done absolutely minimal damage going into those initial 4 rounds that we always say is oh so important for a CT side. And now Espada have already built themselves that buffer. A buffer that ordinarily we'd see a favorite team maybe build up over the first 6 rounds, over the first 7. But here they've been playing flawless Counter-Strike, and I don't even think they've dropped 5 players in total this map so far. So, as I said, minimal damage dealt. I like these more advanced smokes. It gives him an angle onto Patsy's position. It kind of isolates him off in the garage, but he finds 2 for his troubles. There's the bomb gone, the smoke to create a stalemate, and the flashbang does connect, but Lunatic's a little too slow. He finally does pounce, but you see Espada is here. They're wrapping in. That bomb goes down again, and Sotfig's there to end the pressure. A 1 versus 2 for Sobol. He's been in this situation before, but this time he has to connect these headshots. And Espada are just playing this 1v2 flawlessly. You see them swing together, and Sotvig, the first find, able to nail that shot nonetheless. 5-0 on the board here, and just no danger, supposedly. You see that Pact go up into a 5v3 situation off the back of a pair of headshots, and it's instantly traded. Espada know exactly the play that needs to be made to keep them in these rounds.
Yeah, it seems to be going very well for them right now, doesn't it? The perfect start you could possibly ask for. Look at that frag grenade as well against these pistols. So much damage done as they look to cross into secret for a quick rush play. One of the smokes missing, but that will be a dead giveaway now of what to expect. And not only that, allows for Espada to get set up, waiting for this push. It's interesting. You can see Pact are almost going, okay, where actually are the CTs right now? Well, why have they not faced into us? Something doesn't feel quite right. So they're aware that something's quite off, but really unable to do anything about it. Who finally get themselves a few pistol kills for their troubles here as the AWP holds the cross. I like the molly because it denies that player from getting back into sight, leaves him out on the open here. Finnegan does need to sort of come down with his teammate though and help him out here, especially given that it is just this AWP. Surely a bunch of pistols aren't just about to win it. Finnegan needs to really feel the urgency of the round right now, something that just seems like it's not really there.
Clock is ticking with only 15 seconds left. That opening shot comes in too late, and Finnegan's still no closer to this bomb site. He's pretty much timed himself out before he gets even close. There's a freebie, but it's absolutely worthless. I think he's going to go off in a puff of... Oh, maybe he's not going to go off in a puff of smoke. He's very far away from that bomb, but 5-1 on the board, and a bit of a wild round from Pact. It looked like Espada were very nicely set up to contain that. They had the triple crossfire. They pretty much baited Pact in on that B bomb site, maybe just over facing ever so slightly against the pistols. Of course, there's that compromise between, do we let the pistols get too close? They can be incredibly dangerous at hyper close range. Instead, trying to take the initial fights, and it just doesn't work out. And you see that Dexter almost gets like counted away from the situation. He finds, just the 1 on the cross, but he's unable to prevent that bomb from going down. And he's unable to open up onto Lunatic on that B bomb site. So it keeps them in a dangerous 2v3 where he's got 10 HP, and there's just nothing to be done at that point in the round. And when your teammate's playing such a slow game, Finnegan was basically crawling his way onto the B-bomb site, never even got there. 5-1. We'll see a buy round from both sides, and that could be a change of pace. I like that we see a tactical pause right off the back of it. That's a shaky round, to say the least. But Espada know that they can turn the pace. In this very round, they can destroy the whole economy right now.
That's a nice little opening angle, but fortunately not really able to do much more off of it. Just early damage done. The one thing Espada have had down so far is getting really good value out of single frag grenades. That's what we call unconfirmed damage. Damage done to the round that Espada aren't fully aware of. And there's no way for them to know for certain. For example, the minis is 48 HP. The push comes through. Demon's position, not one often checked, and as a result, quick 2-for-1 trade. Espada happy with that one, as it just slows down their play just that little bit more, and that's the goal right now. It's just to take the speed out of the play.
Massively important swing round here for Espada. We saw the tactical timeout right at the start to create a little space between the 6th and 7th rounds. And it seems to have worked. They look very well versed. And Patsy versus 3 on this B-bomb site should be able to do some decent damage against the low HP players here. He obviously gets smoked off. You'll see him spray through some of these angles at some point. That crosshair is so close, it just pulls the trigger. Then heavy damage gets dealt. I really like that, but doesn't connect also. And, well, here come the nades. There are plenty of HEs. You see 3 on this CT side to try and bait some of these Pact players out and away. They're going to have to take a duel sooner or later. And with Goofy only 2 HP, when are they going to take this gunfight? There we go. Darko against the world. And it's just not going to happen. 6-1. As I said, a massive swing round for Espada right there. They completely crushed the Pact money. I think that bomb plant means that they easily get a buy in this next, especially with the max loss bonus.
It's amazing how much I love betting on esports. It's so cool. What's even better is when I can use Cash Out. Wait, you didn't know about Cash Out? Cash Out is when you can get your stake back even when your bet is going against you. Just one hit and your money is safe. So go to Loot.bet to cash out now.
Like you say, they can just about get a buy through. It's not perfect, not by a long shot. They will have to get a Galil and some of the utility forces. Slightly less weaponry in those cases. But all in all, I think Pact can make this work. It's not horrendous. Got a lot of mollies too, which is what you want T-side Nuke. Mollies are by far one of the most single-handedly important pieces of a T-side. As Minis, great little opener, puts in the work with the AWP, but a slam dunk of a frag grenade coming in towards outside. As just picks come in across the board. In fact, Pact go from being at a 5v5 to a 5 versus 2 in the space of just seconds, leaving Dima on the A site single-handedly now to defend against this push.
And this is exactly what the Poles need. Those opening kills coming left, right, and center, just choking Espada out of these rounds. There's another trade on the A-bomb site. Should mark this one over. Finnegan, I don't think that there's much equity in saving this. Obviously, he wants to pipe in as much damage as possible, but unable to do so. Minis, the perfect angle. 6-2 here. Massively important round from Pact. Of course, they've got that loss bonus built to a maximum, so they can pretty much buy in every single scenario. This is what makes the CT side of most maps really quite difficult in this new iteration of CS. The way the economy is structured nowadays really does favor that T half. Yeah, back in the day, lockdown CT sides. On the T side, if you didn't chain rounds together, you'd be knocked right back to that $1,400 loss bonus. That's why only losing 500 instead of the whole loss bonus that you've built up per round is just so deadly. Patsy doesn't actually spot Darko around that smoke, and that's another entry kill for Pact. This is starting to get dangerous. Espada need to maybe stop playing as isolated Counter-Strike. I don't know if Sotvig is aware that the approach is coming through to heaven, but well, there's the step. You see his crosshair react. Looks right up for this one, and well, there's the opening frag.
Espada left in quite a dire position now, to be honest. A 2v4 with little to no stake in the round. They're already thinking about how they can carry that open M4 through to round 10 here, as unfortunately for them, their opportunity for a runaway lead has quickly walked away from them. Now we'll be looking at 6-3 here, and Pact are well and truly back into this game. It is now going to be a question of what could Espada do on their CT side to maximize their half. Much more standard Counter-Strike, rather than a team decimating their opponent and simply just running away. A good example of that is Espada now going to be thinking, okay, is an 11-4 on the table? Is that the scoreline we're aiming for?
The 2 rifles saved into this one will give Espada a little bit of a buffer. I think they might just go for the investment here. Dexter can obviously drop away another M4. Dima, he's a little bit stuck for a drop. I don't know if he can... Well, he obviously can't even afford a thousand. Maybe that would have been the difference maker, though. Espada, they eat the save, just wanting to go into this one with a pair of rifles and nothing else. Good opportunity for Pact to get up to 4 here. This is a must-win situation if they're going to take a good T side. Up against the pistols over by Ramp. The Deagle chips and chimes through. Humongous damage dealt. And Finnegan's still alive to rapid rotate back to the B bomb site. They've got the AWP to contend with. Oh, Darko does so very nicely. Dexter takes one right between the eyeballs. And Dima pretty much has to do it all on his lonesome. Espada were going to win this one. It had to be all off the back of that AWP. The M4 does not connect. And now the USPS looks a lot more vulnerable. You see, Moniz is actually just guarding these rifles right now, knowing that the majority of these weapons dropped have been over by Ramp, and that's where Finnegan was playing from. So, an opportunity to get to this AWP, perhaps. He needs to just grab that right here, right now. There's no reason to not take that last step or so. There's no reason. It's right in front of him. It makes no thank you. What is Finnegan doing? Why is he waiting this one out? He could have an AWP for this duel right here. And he finds it. Oh, man. This is so painful to watch. Finnegan needs to hit this shot against the pistol and isn't able to do so. 6-4. Maybe some questionable decisions made.
Best part about that is Moniz is going to be laughing because he's guaranteed to kill by just keeping him there, thanks to the bomb exploding. So he even have to finish the job himself. The beauty of this, though, is Pact have really been allowed into their T side now, up to 4 rounds already on the board, looking for a 5th. And well, the early control here points to some good success. Someone's gone flying through door off the rule. That generally already shows you what to expect here. Sotvik under pressure. He'll have to smoke himself off. And from there, the A play comes through pretty quickly from Pact. They are just blowing their heads off Espada.
Oh, well, wow. All of the kills come through all at the same moment. I guess this is what makes Pact so dangerous. Just this ability to find these opening frags. We've seen Darko. He started firing on all cylinders. Sobol's been an ever-potent threat. Usually, I would say, for Pact, it's Goofy. He is actually on HLTV, top of the scoreboard once again, but they seem to be a couple of rounds behind us here. But yeah, just leading the charge very narrowly, but everybody from Pact starting to step up now. Instead of missing their shots and just walking into these bait crossfire setups from Espada. They seem to be hitting everything. They've minimized this cash. And remember how one-sided this was to start. Espada 4-0 up. They had, I don't know, $30,000+ in their bank accounts across the 5. Right now, anything but. Nobody up to that $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 mark where you want to be sat to go for a favorable buy. Instead, we see the pistols come through once again, just to go for a buy around Dexter's AWP. And knowing that Dexter was the final player alive, of course, Pact know that they're up against it this time, so they can probably run amok here, play a faster setup. I'd have loved to see a smoke or two down, but nevertheless, it's right onto the B bomb site. This C4 should go through and away before Espada even know the cross has been made. And Pact are just all over this map right now. They're hunting for the AWP. That's the big prize here in round number 12. A funky miss. I just don't want to see the overcommit from Maniz, and well, there it is. So another opportunity to grab hold of one of these rifles. The AK drops, and that's another rifle given, Flakes.
It's proven to be a little bit of a disaster when it comes to weapon management, but at the same time, a round is a round, and that's what matters here. Already getting tied up on the T side. 6-6 is, to be fair, it's all Pact need. They can give up an entire armory of weapons to Espada if they so choose, but just getting the round is enough.
Certainly so. Closes the gap to 0. Scoreline that, I'll be honest, didn't think we were seeing this half. Certainly to me, this looked like a very one-sided start. It's been anything but. 6-6. Play from both teams. And here, Pact say that they hold a very narrow lead at this point, and it's more aggression, more momentum, more pace onto that A bomb site. You see how much Darko takes as that smoke goes down and away. It's right through to vents, and he's already up towards the back of ramp. There's an opportunity that Demon just gets caught off guard by this AK, and look, right from behind, there's the headshot. They all come through for Pact, and another 5 versus 3 scenario. What do Espada do right now? They don't have this early map control. Did they force the aggression themselves? You saw that there were, I don't think, any Molotovs down by Squeaky Door. You need those Molotovs earlier to just isolate Darko to make that push not worthwhile. He's able to get down into vents, only losing 10 HP for his troubles. That's just not good enough. Where's the nade stack? Where's the utility usage that we saw Espada thrown to play so effectively in the first couple of rounds?
That is the big problem, is you cannot allow a T-side to get into vent, get secret control in the first 15 seconds of the round for what seems to be free. You get 5-10 HP worth of damage, it might as well be free. So that's definitely something that Espada do need to resolve, because what they found early on in this half was that Pact didn't have the cojones, to put it politely, to try and make these plays. They were getting beaten around a bit, and Espada were just looking very comfortable, 6-1 and so on. What they're finding now is Pact have realized, hold on a second, if we actually just play very aggressive here and really try and force the fight to Espada, we can not only win rounds, but we can win the game here. And that's what we're seeing now. And we just haven't seen any change of play in Espada in response to that. So they're still trying to do the same thing they were doing in round 7. And what they haven't realized yet, it's not working anymore. We're past that point.
This is a 7 of 8 round run. That's the only possible shutdown here. The nade doesn't massively connect, but Dexter certainly does in the USP. Just a one tap through the smoke to end things. A nice round, but where has this convincing play been from Espada since the start? You see that Molotov go down early and isolate Darko, and then that double spray down looks all too easy. It's not quite the double spray down, of course. He has to finish things off with his final bullet, but on 6 HP, it might as well have been. Like, Lunatic dies with full utility there as well, so nothing gets thrown. There's no flashbang to isolate that AWP M4 combo. 7-7 is the result. Pact just wanting to run and gun, and, like, can you blame them? It's been working for them. But, yeah, once again, The smokes go down. The smokes don't go down, more importantly, over towards the outside area. And Minis, he gets just picked apart.
It is much more patient play, though, from Pact this time around, and I'm curious to see how this works for them, given where we saw the success for Espada early on was in response to this type of Counter-Strike. What's worked for Pact has been the quick, aggressive, getting secret control, getting door control early on sort of play. Here now a slow burning secret take, and it's a bit of a disaster. Dexter getting free pickings from above here. Beautiful little position just above secret. That does leave Sabal and Goofy 2 against 5, and this only goes to further prove our point, which is that if Espada are given the time to set up on their CT side, it's pretty easy pickings. If they're not given that time, Pact just need to catch them by surprise and simply out-aim them. Not too surprised that plays out the way it does as well. The bomb does go do, but it is going to be just trades back and forwards in the end for what will be an Espada half, 8-7. But a very, very good half, I think, overall for Pact.
Right. If somebody in chat can guess the length of my middle finger to the millimeter, I'll give you a prize. I will give you a sealed graffiti Chess King Tracer Yellow. It's worth all of 6 cents. So big prizes here today. Got to guess middle finger to the millimeter.
Folks, if you want to know what it's like to win some real prizes, you could head on over to Loot.bet, of course. Use code League, use code Mango. Get yourself a deposit bonus among other cool prizes and win some actually really valuable skins and not have to think about the length of his finger.
2 inch, 8 millimeters. Left or right hand? We're going to go for the left hand.
Oh god, well this is just a rabbit hole
Someone
we do not want to go down.
3.75 millimeters, so I'm going to say that you're probably wrong, bro. He thinks like I'm an elf or something.
I mean, it could be legit. You never know.
I'm like 5'11", 6 foot, something like that. So just to give you a sense of scale. Someone's spamming 86 millimeters. I don't even think I got a ruler here. I'm gonna go find one. One sec.
Lunatic looking for a peek of his own, but unfortunately cut down by the Glock. Espada still looking to show just how competitive they can be in this round if they do bring it full circle, 2 for 2. 45 seconds to play with, though. The bomb in not the greatest of positions. They are going to be waiting for, I believe, to be Finnegan, who's going for this long play through outside. They'll come back in through hut, of course, just to try and find Sobol. So they get the frag they're looking for, but at a slightly odd cost. Ema has to do it all himself now. Will get just enough time to plant the bomb, thankfully. Spots out his opposition, and, well, it's a Glock burst to get it done, it seems.
I'm back. I've got the all-important finger length results.
How's this become a thing? What have you started?
We're gonna see. Somebody got quite close. One person got quite close. Okay, nobody's got it yet. Nobody has got it. You've got to get the exact millimeter. Back into the game. A couple of quick kills here. This is, well, obviously an opportunity for Pact to get right back into this one, round number 2. And with the bomb dropped in the open and that nade not massively connecting, only onto Darko, Dima has to really just grab that C4 and backtrack. But with these MP9s ready to strike, look at that pre-fire. It's so blatant. Dima goes down, and Finnegan a 1 versus 3 scenario. And this flank is not going to catch anybody by surprise.
You say that, Minis is going to be caught, so brings it to a 1v2 here. Finnegan just checking every little corner he can on the site. Surely not. That is absolutely ridiculous. Lunatic has just been done dirty. That should not be a 2v1. He should have any say in at all.
More importantly,
bit speechless
we have
about that
a
one.
winner, Flakes. We have a winner. It's Goonie 1986. He gets 94 millimeters. And you're right. There you go. Congratulations, bro.
I suppose he gets the 60-cent skin now for his troubles.
No, 5 cents.
5 cents. Wow, you're really pushing the boat
I'm not
out.
spending
Surprising.
60 cents on these people. What, you think I'm going to spend? That's like fucking 30% of my paycheck, Flakes.
It's a big oof. Is it just some sticker capsule then? I'm legitimately curious now.
No, it's not even a capsule. It's an actual sticker. It's the sealed graffiti Chess King Tracer Yellow. That is it. It's literally worth 3 pence. Worth every penny. Worth all 3 pennies, in fact. He hasn't even messaged me back. I think he put his guess in chat and then left. Oh no, he has put woo. He is. See, he's excited. This is what you need to know. If you want to make somebody happy out there in the world, it doesn't cost $1 million, Flakes. You don't have to take them for dinner. You don't have to buy them a car or a nice house. Sometimes 3p makes the difference.
I'm not sure if that tells you
everybody right now.
more about your dating life or Twitch chat's dating life, but if you're taking people on dates and buying them cars and houses, then maybe we need to start talking, because I could do with a new car. It's I'd be open to that. Clearly, you're making sure that you look after all of your dates. It seems. Sugar Daddy Squid coming in for rescue. It seems.
They all get a house for my $2 paycheck. It's in Cambodia, but it's still a house. Like, what can I say? Take what you're given. People in chat demanding a remeasure. I will say that it probably wasn't very accurate because I couldn't find a tape measure, so I had to find. There was basically we're in like a factory building here, so I went into one of the other offices and there was like some packaging for something, and it had like a guide on the side, and so yeah, I will say that it wasn't very accurate. It wasn't a scientifically sound measuring. Winner's the winner.
I can't believe how much this has derailed the whole situation. Just you and your bloody length of your
Derailed
finger.
the whole show. It's derailed the whole first map. I've ruined the whole first map here.
The whole series, it's all gone. It's all gone wrong, Squid. It's all gone wrong. You need to listen to the people, though. We need a remeasure now, just to be sure.
Alright, I'll see you in a minute.
Where do you even go to? What, how does this... I have so many questions. He actually has disappeared, folks, to go and do that remeasure. There you go. What madness we live in. At least we have some Counter-Strike to watch in front of us, though. The priorities, of course, clearly well set for this best of 3. That's it. Espada looking to get some more rounds on their T side because they need them ultimately. They are struggling to link them together. Almost a bit of a challenge. Dima, solid opener, finding Sabol, using the smoke as advantage, it seems. That leads to a first kill in the bag. Second, potentially coming up as well, as Finnegan will find it, but not before Goofy sneaks a quick kill in towards Dima. So it is just a trade frag in the end. Here is Dexter, proven to be a man here to put the work in as well. He's whiffing a shot, not ideal. A second frag as well, that's a disaster. Allows Espada a simple 12. If he connects any one of those shots on the site, you're looking at potentially a different outcome there, as it just buys time for his teammates, but not going to happen. They drop like flies. He whiffs his shots. It does become an easy 12th round for our T side.
So voting for finger measurements are back open because I got it kind of pretty badly out. The only guide of reference that I have in this whole office is there's a windscreen wiper that's in a box, and the box has a little a measure on it as a guide. So I've basically been putting a windscreen wiper up to my a box to windscreen wiper up to my finger. So there was a little bit of margin for error, but I've done it properly now. I've done it scientifically. So 94 is off the cards. I love how the first guess is 109, like it was going to be 15 mil out. That's adorable. I think that's a guy who doesn't want the skin. Right?
One minute on the clock to work with. Pact don't have the prettiest of weaponry here, both literally in the form of weapons in their hands, but also utility as well, nowhere to be seen. So well, at least does get an opening pick with the SMG, so credit to him for making something stick there. But unfortunately will be just traded away as Espada begin their crunch down on towards this B side. But they may just decide to get Invent here in head A, to be honest, and well, it looks like that's the call we've just seen.
Pact need to negotiate their way back up to this A bomb site, and they need to do so right now. If they're going to support Maniz with this AWP, they need to not allow him to isolate himself, but he hits the shot anyway, and something almost peeks right into that one. Still 25 seconds, the bomb's not too far ticked, and here's the AK out in the open. Good damage through the smoke, and there's another headshot. Dima might be about to do it all on his lonesome. That last bullet could have been everything, as something finds Lunatic. That's a 13th on the board. And what a take right there for Espada. Definitely a turning point at that halftime mark where they're able to control the pace and aggression. That's why I think a lot of teams prefer to finish on that T side, because you know exactly how many rounds you need and you can control the pace accordingly. It's exactly what Espada have done so far. 13-8, a good lead of 5, and it looks like Pact are just totally stuck in the mud in terms of this half. They've got barely any money to work with in this 22nd, and well, they're just so far behind. The dilemma here is, do you force buy or do you allow a 14th from the tees? I think you have to do the latter. You have to eco this one, maybe a couple of pistols here and there to give yourself a little bit of a chance. But there's every opportunity that, yeah, even with a force buy, this just ends 16-8. We say 99 to Nuke, and then we go onto Espada's map pick next. This is where the series starts to get a little more dangerous and where Espada start to solidify their position as favorites.
Definitely, and you're also
finger length, by the way, at the end of this map. So if nobody gets it, you've got to get the middle finger length in millimeters by the end of this map for the prize. Nobody's got it.
What a mad world we live in. The length of your finger being guessed on a Twitch
spice
stream.
it up. I'm ready to spice it up.
What's next? What's the challenge for the next broadcast?
First guy got it. 91 millimeters. There we go.
On the dot, like he got that like exactly correct.
Just straight away, just as soon as I said it, right on.
You have to give him a little bit more than solely just a
No, he gets
6
a 3p.
skin.
Like, what? You think I'm made of money?
Hey man, he got that exactly right. That's got to be like some bonus jackpot right there.
No. He gets a 3p skin. I think it's not even a skin. He wants a knife.
I respect that. I think he should get a knife.
What do we think, knife? What do we think, Chad? Does he deserve a knife? Vote yes or no. I'm not legally bound to take a decision.
I think you'll find you are. You have to do exactly what Twitch chat tell you to do. Maybe that should be the challenge of today, is you have to do exactly what the
that
what
is
Twitch
how I
chat
get
tell you.
fired from this tournament. That is how I get fired right there. That's an abysmal idea.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, I love that. See, the chat says no, bro.
Wow. Poor guy, just out here trying to get his knife. Twitch chat just saying no, you can't have it.
So if I can have a knife, nobody can. 14-8 right now. Espada. I'll be honest, it's just been a very one-sided matchup here. I think as soon as that turning point of half-time comes, they've just been overwhelmingly one-sided. Now, Espada, well, they will walk into the crossfire, which is this ramp area. And Lunatic low HP. Dexter just needed one more bullet to find that frag. And Dexter's found himself so much space outside. He's weaned his way into garage. There's an opportunity that he can get his way behind the ramp rim here. That's definitely what I would prefer in this scenario. But we watch this game through rose-tinted goggles. Obviously, he doesn't know if there's anybody heaven, hell, forklift, any of those positions that can counteract some of those positions. But obviously, with his teammates gone, this makes any flank far less effective. Looks like it's going to be a Pact 9th here. One away from double digits, but still a lot more runway to go before this comeback comes to fruition.
You just see what Dexter tries to actually accomplish here, given that he doesn't have the bomb or anything, so just a case of setting himself up in a good position to survive the last 20 seconds or so. He drops down the ladder, almost instant death as Lunatic is ready and waiting.
I think keeping hold of the AK here for Dexter makes a lot of sense. He can actually upgrade to an AWP.
It's amazing how much I love betting on esports. It's so cool. What's even better is when I can use Cash Out. Wait, you didn't know about Cash Out? Cash Out is when you can get your stake back even when your bet is going against you. Just one hit and your money is safe. So go to Loot.bet to cash out now.
Back back into the action now. 14-9. Espada looking to get this one over the line here. Will be Miniz to get nice and aggressive with the AWP, but another shot not connected. Means easy pickings once more for Dexter. Goofy will be there to trade, but is it too little too late? Already losing your AWP is such a big piece of your CT side. It's far from ideal. Frag Grenade won't be able to do too much in the end, so Darko, unfortunately, left in a tough spot here now as he'll play big boxes. He sees them coming, gets the first shot off, but that'll be all. He's desperate to try and retreat to the site itself.
This is where Espada need to crunch and apply the pressure either towards the B-bomb site or hell, and they've gone for the latter. This is the most difficult of the two. With Lunatic on the sideline, it's only a 2-for-1 trade. Not good enough for Pact. Sobor has to come in massive, and he does nail a speedy headshot, but it leaves it down to Finnegan. A 1 versus 2, and I think he's found a gap in his defense here. Might be right back to the B-bomb site. Yeah, Darko is nowhere to be found. This should be an easy bomb plant. With the multi-tiered system of Nuke, I think he'll be heard quickly. And you see Darko makes the quick rotate downstairs. And this should be over. As soon as this bomb goes down, Darko should open that door and just end things. That's a 10th. So scoreline closes ever so slightly. This should be either a half buy. No, it will be the full buy from Espada, but it's going to be far from perfect. Finnegan won't be able to afford an AK and head armor. Dima certainly can't. He'll be probably stuck on, well, either an SMG or a pistol. Take your pick. It's the Deeg. Then Finnegan with the Galil. So not an ideal buy from the T's. And this is where the scoreline can get precariously close. Twitch chat is mental right now. I do blame myself for this. I do blame myself. But it is only this Twitch King 1994 guy. Maybe I should just mute him.
Dare I ask? Based on the screenshot that I've just seen, and I'm not sure I think it's appropriate to ask on air, to be honest.
Should I mute him? I think I might mute him. All right. Goodbye, Twitch King. You're no longer... Oh, no, I've not got mods. Oh, no, I'm signed into the wrong thing. Oh, look at this. It's going off the rails, Flakes.
It's all got a bit wrong there, isn't it? No permissions granted for you. You'll have to just accept what he's saying.
No, I'm muting the guy. Next time he types in chat, he's gone.
Poor guy. Poor guy.
He's hiding from me now. He's not typing anything. He knows as soon as he types, I get his profile. He's eliminated. Come on, Twitch King. You know you want to. Oh no, Flakes. This has gone well and truly off the rails.
How does this happen with you like, all the time? It's every time we cast together. Just completely.
There he is. He's gone. He's gone, folks.
Poor guy.
Eliminated.
Well, he took his shot,
In fact,
unfortunately.
no, I'm gonna give him yeah, I'll give him a timeout.
Give him a second chance to live his life.
Yeah.
Pact, meanwhile, they're not holding their punches. They're beating Espada down here. Just trying to maximize every little opportunity they get, as after all, they're on 14 rounds, just 2 needed to get this over the line. Pact, meanwhile, need now 3 more to bring things back, to tie things up, and then another 2 on top just to secure that win. So important Pact keep it rolling here. They don't lift off the gas at all, as they have started to find a bit of momentum on their CT side. So they just have to keep that rolling.
Yeah, that's the one saving grace for a CT side like this, is that money's now starting to roll, the rounds with it. We've seen how Espada can open up these bomb sites, so definitely don't count them out at any point, even as this score gets closer. How many times have we seen these close, contentious maps from Pact? Sometimes taking it, sometimes not. This is obviously the 1-1 bracket here in the Swiss system. So losers obviously have to win consecutive best of 3s to get through to the playoffs. I don't know if I'd favor either of these teams to win consecutive best of 3s. You're probably going to have to play one of the better lineups sooner or later. And yeah, it's not the most enviable position. Obviously getting 2-1 up means that you have that double chance, 2 best of 3 opportunities to get through to those playoffs. Remember, we have more Counter-Strike coming up after this. Hard for You versus Apex. Taking center stage after this best of 3 is said and done. Still in map 1, though. Espada versus Pact back into the action. It's a pretty weird buy, all things considered. Obviously, Dexter's got that Deagle in hand. There's the investment. Vig with a Galil in armor. I don't know if this is a bit of dispersion in the ranks. And right into Darko's AWP for that one.
Darko under pressure here. Actually finds this little tag to 17 HP, so has to pop a quick defensive flash, but not going to happen. The P250 will finish him off. And, well, these rounds, Pact do have to be careful. Despite it being just pistols, there is Kevlar on Dexter, and an AWP in play, after all, is still an AWP in play. So, still a round they have to treat seriously. Nice to see Minis find a kill there, actually, to be honest, because he's been struggling this series. Couple of very simple shots not really connecting like they should have. Far from ideal, but here we go. 50 seconds now to work with the B play. Looking like it has some legs to it. Sabal will be one player to watch alongside Goofy as well. Let's see, that all you can hear it just creeping around on the site. Sabal aware that Fat gets nice and close. When does he bite the bullet to push here? In fact, decides, you know what, let me wait for my team. That makes sense.
Yeah, he doesn't want to give away this man advantage that they've hard fought themselves, especially at this scoreline where one round here could certainly push Espada over the top, at least to map point here on Nuke. Still a doable 2 versus 3 nonetheless. Squeaky door popped open, and all 3 frags needed, and it doesn't come through. An easy defuse here for the CTs. 14-12.
This is where the game now just gets ever closer. All still to play for. One big buy for Espada remains before we do look at things of tying up 14-14. This is a critical round for this T-side. You need to get it done here. See, quick A play going to be the answer. Goes 2 for 2, make it 2 for 3 in the end as Espada come out ahead here. Dima finding that quick pick on Goofy as then they find Darko, leaving this lunatic last man standing, forced to the outside as well. He can't see a thing. This should be more than enough now to force Espada to 15, get themselves their first map point of this best of 3. It will come down to just one final round in order to make that happen. And the benefit for Espada is Pact have very little money in the bank here.
Yeah, that's one massive benefit to winning this. Of course, no rifles are allowed to save with Dexter. Quite an effective flank. 15-12, and it's felt like Espada have been comfortably ahead at every point during this map. Even when the comeback coming along the tracks, it always feels like they've got a couple of rounds in the pocket, which reduces that pressure, reduces that stress, and seems to make Espada play the best Counter-Strike. 15-12, now 3 opportunities to close, and I think they'll all be with fairly decent-ish buys. I think round number 30 would be a little bit dodgy, but we might not see too many more rounds. Lunatic instantly falls. Sobol has to do everything. His MP9 falls on deaf ears. And it's a 2 versus 4 to finish. Only Minis. He's had a shocker of a first map. And he gets popped in the head to close things off. So it's been an enthralling first. From finger measuring shenanigans to Espada taking it 16-12. I'll be more on the ball for next map, which is, of course, Espada's pick. Expect them to show up right after this break.
It's amazing how much I love betting on esports. It's so cool. What's even better is when I can use Cash Out. Wait, you didn't know about Cash Out? Cash Out is when you can get your stake back even when your bet is going against you. Just one hit and your money is safe. So go to Loot.bet to cash out now.
No, there ain't no stopping us. Fly without a boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. Didn't even get to cross.
I'm moving too far. Get to glass.
Jack it up.
It's amazing how much I love betting on esports. It's so cool. What's even better is when I can use Cash Out. Wait, you didn't know about Cash Out? Cash Out is when you can get your stake back even when your bet is going against you. Just one hit and your money is safe. So go to Loot.bet to cash out now.
Hello, welcome everybody. I guess this is map number 2 of this series, Pact and Espada in a best of 3. I think this one is going as it was meant to go, and we're now on Dust 2. It's Espada's map pick. I think we're looking at a 2-0, and yeah, judging by how this has started, I think that we might need the break. So just for some context, and I will say I'm not going to give too much context. I might have told Flakes a funny story as just before we went live on air, and I think he is I think he's a little bit broken right now. I think we broke Flakes, unfortunately. At least it's just a knife fight. At least we're not missing any Counter-Strike. But
Oh, that struggle was real. The timing there was just too. It was too. That was
It's-
yeah. You can't be dropping those things on me right as you're about to go live. That was my poor chest couldn't take it.
I just look in chat and you're like, intro please. I can't do this. I like, dude. Yeah, it's my turn.
You know when you're laughing so hard that you're just in a fit of laughter? That's what happened. Like, literally, folks, he comes out with this absolute belter 3 seconds before the game appears, and then it's just, you can't hold back the laughter at that point. It just comes. The worst possible timing.
Can you type to me what the line was?
I will let you know. Oh.
Oh, no, I remember it. No, I remember it. You're fine. Okay, right. Okay, all right, pistol round, I guess. Let's cast some Counter-Strike. I think that this series in general is a bit of a foregone conclusion. I think Espada are just a little too good. Whatever map you put these two teams on, I think that Nuke was pretty much Pact's best chance to get ahead in this one. But there's a chance that this just goes 2-0. We get a very quick matchup here, and yeah, we go to a break incredibly quickly. Dexter, wanting to ensure that, puts the first headshot firmly on the board. Oh, and Patsy does as well. So Espada starting things as they left off on Nuke just a couple of minutes ago. No real break in pace. No big pause between these two maps. And there is the first opening. Dexter on low HP as well might actually give them an entry into this one. He's got his head glitch angle firmly in place. And that is a perfect nade. Dexter's able to spray another one away. 2 kills do come through, but the flank is firmly in place. Dima's right below, and still the opportunity for the shutdown here. It all comes down to that frag, and Finnegan's able to find it through this bomb site. He knows exactly where both of these players are holding, and Espada have to isolate this setup. They're going to do so by playing all together now, and Sobol needs to find both of these taps. He doesn't know where Finnegan's holding from. There's the flashbang. It does not connect, and now he's hyper aware of where this final man is holding. It all comes down to the headshot, and Sobol's got the perfect angle for the job. There's the Glock to finish things off. Pact, a much-needed pistol to begin things on our second map of the day. early in this second round. Of course, a force from Espada. I feel like these forces are way less viable nowadays in CS. It doesn't feel like, especially on the CT side of a map like Dust 2, they're massively viable. You want to go for maybe that early buy in the third. I think the double-edged sword, though, is you can't get out a full buy in round number 3. Yes, if you're on that T side, your money always looks way stronger at this point. You can go down 1-0, and then you can get out the early rifles. And I would definitely prefer that to happen if that was the case. But on the CT side, it certainly makes sense. Do you really want to go for a double eco instead? No, you want to give yourself equity in the second round, and then just a full eco in the third before going for that full buy in number 4. So towards the B bomb site this time, where only Dima is holding. He's called for the early wrap from Finnegan, but this should just be an overrun B bomb site. See Finnegan just getting peppered away from those double doors. And this one should all be over. 30 seconds left, and that bomb does go down. And the headshot's not going to change anything. The low HP of these CTs means that they don't want to go for this sort of a retake. And this is going to be 2-0, but nicely thus far keeping alive 3 members, which should mean a little bit of a chance in the third round. I definitely prefer this rather than just throwing them away to try and eliminate maybe an AK at best on B, but I prefer them to not even hunt for any damage here. They're on such low health that this could go horribly wrong incredibly quickly, and Sopvig into the shots, and he's moving into a sticky scenario. 2-0. Even lose that weapon. I'd really like to see them keep that Mac 10 in hand. Such a key weapon to carry through to just give yourself a chance in this third. Obviously, it's not a weapon that you want to carry through to the buy round coming up, so saving in this one doesn't make sense. But yeah, you see Finnegan's stuck without anything really to work with at this point. Only that USPS without any body armor. Dima likewise, just a smoke grenade is the investment. And this is going to be a fast running gun onto the empty B bomb site. So 3-0 pretty much already secured. Dexter, even the tags coming in isn't really going to be worth all too much. And as soon as that kill comes in, that's pretty much the end of this third round. There's no way for Espada back into this bomb site. They need to set themselves up for exits. That's the big question mark here, is how much damage can they do? Can they actually eliminate one of these rifles? These taps, but of course with the USPS spotted, Finnegan won't be able to merit even 1 kill. So a perfect anti-eco for Pact as we get their first challenge up against these rifles in round number 4.
Pact have quite the corker of a start here, don't they? 3-0 on the board already. Espada unable to find anything at all in the early days of this. Now looking for just at least something. A way back in. A gun round would be a great start at that. That isn't the way they were hoping to go, though, is it? A very quick frag coming through on towards Sopvik.
No, this hasn't been going too well so far for Espada. That's a nice change of pace. I love that quick switch up from Dexter. Almost baiting Darko to the shots. And now he has to hit a couple more. A little bit of support from Dima from below. And that's a great angle on the ramp. I feel like Sobol should have been a little better prepared for that one. Just held away from this A-bomb site. Right over this smoke grenade. Dima can try and pick and choose these engagements. And with the pistol out, he's going to find another and another. Beautiful stuff from Dima. He's actually been a player just in the CIS scene for so damn long. Had a couple of chances on bigger teams. Right now, Espada, I think he needs to be one of the more consistent players and, well, a quad kill right there, proving his worth in the initial gun round.
So they get themselves a single round on the board, and hopefully, at least in their eyes, this acts as a foothold, something they can use to leapfrog their way into this game, try and tie things up after a second gun run win. Obviously, if they can win here, they will force Pact into eco territory, meaning it should be an easy 3-for-3. So it all comes down to this, and a great peek comes through. They spotted 2 players, but unfortunately for Patsy, 2 to find, doesn't end up killing a single one of them as he jumps between them both. Oh, Dexter, you should know you can't repeat that angle. That's rookie mistakes. Overstays is welcome, massively so. Of course, it's Dima to try and save the day here. Classic Dima as well. Not the first time, we'll sure him. The last time we'll see something like that from him. A triple kill as he pins down short. Molly well timed as well as he peaks even more. Surely Dima should be finally cut down. There we go. Put into an early grave. It's Finnegan now on the 1 versus 1.
That's a pair of quad kills in 2 consecutive rounds from Dima. Finnegan, he's going to be quick on the attack. He needs to hit just a headshot here, so they're giving away his position.
That nade was
right
perfect.
down below, and wow, that was absolutely flawless flakes.
You can't make up the accuracy of that nade. That was literally at his opponent's feet. Really well thrown. Just a little jump bounce off to the left. Look at this though, Dima really pulling in for his teammates here because they made some huge blunders on their short hold. The fact of the matter is he should not be able to repeat like this. Dexter really should know, once you guys take a first shot on short and you fall back to that little angle before dropping into CT, you don't repeat that ever. That's a guaranteed frag every time for the T-side pushing.
And you can kind of excuse the mentality, them being in a 5 versus 3, but he's got so many more chances just dropping to CT spawn. There's probably a 1 in 10 chance that he hits a shot. And you just, yeah, you don't have the odds to go for that sort of a play. You have to pre-fire, and a lot of the time you're just not nailing it. The T's are always going to be ready and waiting to punish at that angle. 3-2, the buy finally broken. And now against the Pistols, this should be where Espada can claw their way back into this CT half. Close the gap at least, and that is a beautiful nade once again. It feels like this Espada utility is just on another level. Not just Pact, but the majority of the teams in this tournament. We saw it on Nuke, those heavy nade stacks, especially on the CT sides. They always have them nailed in as well. And Dust 2 is actually one of the maps in the pool where I feel like people are realizing how their HEs are better used at this point. Yes, on short, you want to release one quick towards mid. On the B-bomb site, perhaps, unless the push comes through, you want to keep hold of that HE for the retake. There are these little gimmicks, these little tricks with your utility, which maximizes the effectiveness of those HEs.
All tied up now, though. Espada seeing if they can take this opportunity to bang on the doors of Pact, get themselves into long potentially. Try to get maybe a tad more aggressive. Could also be looking for a bit more of a play towards mid as well. It really depends on how they want to approach it. Still, very passive play from Pact, in fact. Only playing to the tips of short, not really pushing much further forward. "50 seconds to work with." Not a huge amount of time, to be honest. I do eventually have to make a move. He's just patiently waiting to see if he can find something with the AWP here, in fact. He was a bit of a quiet player in that first map, to be honest. not landing even the simplest of kills. So nice to see him this time around at least getting the basic opportunities. Bid to be split comes on through. Dima. Terrorist knocking on his doors, but nothing to come from it. He can't do a thing. Just going to be traded out by Goofy, as that's pretty much a done round from there. We should be seeing Espada save. They'll carry 3 rifles, or 2 rifles and 0 forward, in fact. That's the goal, at least through to round 8, just to try and maintain a little bit of that economy.
Espada have been massively outmaneuvered in this round. You see that they don't have any coverage towards CT spawn. As soon as Maniz finds that first kill over towards mid, they can isolate that solo B defender and pretty much guarantee the round win. Espada needs somebody holding either towards the bottom of ramp or car, looking through towards CT spawn for that B split, or at least watching towards short. If you've got 3 players on the A bomb site, you've got to catch anybody jumping from short to CT spawn at any moment. And you see, as soon as that pincer gets activated, it's like a rear naked choke. You just can't get out of it.
It's amazing how much I love betting on esports. It's so cool. What's even better is when I can use cash out. Wait, you didn't know about cash out? Cash out is when you can get your stake back even when your bet is going against you. Just one hit and your money is safe. So go to Loot.bet to cash out now.
Just a single round lead here for Pact. Proving that this is going to be quite the competitive best of 3, to be honest.
This is where a couple of kills are needed. And Dexter's got a great angle. He's already spotted out the first, but with no smokes placed, that kills his action over by short. Stopvig doesn't really do it all on his lonesome. He's stuck in this corner. No boost in progress as well, so he is almost out of the open. As Pact swarm this bomb site once again, that's a key shot to miss. And Stopvig, he is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Tries to use the smokes as cover, but he gets sprayed right through. Nice connecting headshot there. And Pact, it feels like they're getting everything done off their T sides. That was the theme on Nuke. They were able to, make quite a decent comeback on that T side. As soon as the half switched, it was back to basics once again. So that is entirely possible here on Dust 2. I certainly expect Espada to have a good Dust 2, especially in this series. I think it's one of their more confident maps, albeit see them play Dust in a lot of 3-mappers, a lot of series. But we didn't massively talk about the map pool of this one. I think what's funny is, in terms of win percentage, Espada have got all 3 of their top maps. And even if the maps that Pact are confident on, see that Train certainly is. They've got quite a hefty win percentage on Train, which would be our 3rd and final map if we need it. Dust 2, fairly confident, I guess. But then Nuke, which they picked into this Espada side, it's one of their weaker affairs. So I don't know what went wrong in terms of the veto for Pact, but it feels like they just massively lost.
Yeah, definitely not ideal, but, well, they're going to have to try and make the best of it, aren't they? And so far, they've done just that. Great openings within these rounds. Full A control has been the aim of the game. They've got that practically every time. Even in this round here, they've lost 1 or 2 players here and there. Bit of damage, but nothing more. They will just get picked apart. The rifles having a bit of an impact, to be fair. Dima getting another kill through the smoke does make life a little difficult for them here, but Darko finding that kill pretty much seals the deal. And Patty falls towards long, leaving just Dexter. 1 man standing up against 2. Ooh, he's got the bomb, though. If he can get into a good position here, then maybe there's a chance. It's definitely going to be a tough sell. After all, 2 players for him to find, but maybe a chance here.
Yeah, this is his only opportunity. Of course, a retake on the B-bomb site is totally impossible, but Espada seemed to have found a gap in this attack, and now he needs to find both of these finishing shots. Of course, Pact playing it in very close quarters, this 1v2. And I kind of like this from Dexter. Yes, he's taking a risk, and Pact, are they going to go towards this A-bomb site? There's a good opportunity that they walk right into him here. He's going to just be on the defense, and he just needs to stick his ground. Not go for the rotate. He's obviously not got the same info that we have, but if they're going to run all the way through, then there's an opportunity. And there's the first. Darko next in line, and Dexter needs to hit the shots. There's another whiff. Darko just half HP as Dexter wants to take the angle, and there's the frag. 4-5 here as Pact gets shut away against just an eco. Look at this. Only 2 rifles. Finnegan even just going down right off the bat. Means that this is all done with the pistol, the retrieved AK. And Lunatic going down here. Dexter just plays it perfectly. He's so smart. I love how he isolates these duels. 1v3s are always puzzles that you need to solve. If you just take the gunfight straight out, you're going to get easily traded. If he just defends that bomb in the scenario, he gets traded. You saw Pact hyper aware, but as soon as he forces them towards that A bomb site, they've got a 50-50 chance of guessing correctly and going back to B. Don't get me wrong, but the majority of the time I think they're going A. It's a great read, and he finishes both kills off the back of it.
Keeps the game nice and close, though. 4-5. Only 1 round is the difference. And again, it's going to be a short play this time around to try and see if Pact can make something stick here. And, well, I wonder if it's going to be a repeat of previous rounds for the CT side where they see the contacts, they get the information, they back off and don't take the fight. And then slowly but surely, they just lose people in the round one by one and little jewels here and there. And it just turns into a bit of a disaster. So far, it's looking very much like that again. Already losing Dexter. The only upside is that they have been able to at least get some damage onto Sobol, and the position of Sopvik may well catch them by surprise.
This is the second time he's been holding here, and it just doesn't get checked. Pact. They need to check these angles. Oh, he gets off the trigger a little too fast. That was really badly played by Sopvik, and gives away this A bomb site as a result. Dima last alive. It's a 1 versus 5. That was really badly played by Sopvik. Six to 4. Again, a thwarted defense. I've got to say, Espada's defensive side today hasn't been too impressive. Considering they took a very dominant one-sided early lead on Nuke, they weren't able to close that CT side out particularly well. And it seems to be the same sort of case on Dust too. Yeah, good start. Of course, they lose this pistol round for the first time in this series as well. That's a bit of a difference maker. They're able to take those 3 middle-ish gun rounds, chaining them together. But right now, it's back to these pistols. Plumping for triple USPS at a couple of PT50s. Alright, I love this. Pact's playing Dust 2 like fairly perfectly here on the T side. And then, right, against the full buys, we're going to target the A bomb site most of the time. Maybe throwing a B split in here and there. And then against the pistols, it's right back to the B bomb site where, of course, most of the time you're going to be playing against only 1 defender. And there's not much of an opportunity for the defensive side, with the exception of a stack, to actually do any damage. This flank doesn't pay off thus far. The AK is able to spray him away, and that's a 7th for Pact. This T side is getting out of control.
Yeah, I do think they really are going to have to get it together soon. Espada just not really showing me much sign of success, to be honest, on their CT side to respond to what Pact have been showing is to be quite a well thought out T side. once again, it's going to be a short play. I'm not surprised here for Pact as well. Rinse and repeat what works, right? I mean, they know they can get away with pushing on towards A with a split. And even if they don't actually commit to the play in the end, they know at bare minimum they can get 2 or 3 picks for the troubles just by baiting Espada into thinking that it is going to be that short play. So, not too surprised they take this control early on here. The question is, what do they look to do with it now? Where can Espada potentially step up and find some success of their own? As the gap is small, but definitely has started to grow. And at 4-7, we could quickly see this fall out of favour for Espada and become a scoreline that would be quite difficult to bring back in this second half if they so choose to do so.
Yeah, no AWP presence in this 12th, and a distinct lack of a decent buy. You see that utility already running pretty low with still 45 seconds left, only 1 smoke to play with on the Espada defense. And it's not all too good. You kind of need at least a smoke to guard this A bomb site. This is this classic wrap. Dexter is caught off guard once more. Yes, the bomb is dropped, but there's plenty of time to try and salvage it. And with Patsy going down, what can Finnegan really do here? Maybe just try and jump for this frag. And, wow, this is a done deal right now. Finnegan doesn't prevent anything from coming through. He gets his head blown off. 8-4, looking very one-sided at this point. Very likely going to be at least 9 on the board for Pact. This round shouldn't be much of a challenge against this limited bank of Espada. We'll see the pistols picked up, but that's pretty much it. And Pact obviously have more than enough money to buy into the rest of this half. So it only gets trickier from this point for Espada. If they're going to put many more on the board, they have to do it the hard way. This is a lot of shots to miss. Mini's absolutely rusty today. Isn't hugely struggling in this one, but actually does need to pick up some kills right here. If he misses another shot, he probably gets overrun. This is a real problem at this point. How does that AWP go down? Makes no sense. I don't know what's wrong with Miniz. He finds 2 kills. He's 14 kills, so maybe I shouldn't be slamming him too much. He's literally top of the scoreboard, but that's a lot of shots to miss for any AWPer.
Yeah, he's not had the greatest of series, has he?
Yeah, I think he's actually top fragging right now, which feels really weird. He is.
That's the odd part, isn't it? It's like the basic. It's kind of a classic scenario though of the really nice flashy shots connecting. But sometimes you just watch and it's like, oh, the kind of the simple ones, or what looks to be simple, aren't always landing. It's almost a bit of a fool's law, I suppose.
And don't get me wrong, Dexter's been having his problems as well. Maybe even bigger problems on the A-bomb site. The primary issue, he's had lots of chances to convert frags, and he's just not been able to. Look at that messy play. I don't think we've seen the best Counter-Strike from Espada in this map. Feels like they've not really touched base with Dust 2. And I think at this point, they're probably looking forward to that second half. They want to guarantee themselves another round or 2 before this is said and done. And this seems to be in the bag here. Goofy versus 5. Beautiful nade once again. I love that. In a 1v5 situation, there's no need to keep hold of that HE. You're not saving cash for the 15. It's a round win with 5 players alive. So money doesn't become an issue. Yeah, get rid of that nade. Throw it at him. Guarantee that kill. You know that these Pact players, and a lot of players in this tournament, have the ability to turn rounds like that away. 5-9 nonetheless.
Just like you mentioned, though, the key thing here for Espada at this point is going to be just to try and get to 6. Do the best they can at the tail end of the CT half to set up for success if their T-side had these legs to it. Now, we don't know if their T-side is going to be any good or not, but it's definitely worth assuming it will be based on what we've seen before. That boost was glorious. Get him up on the boxes, use it to secure a quick peek from tunnels. Lovely stuff. Finnegan does start to respond through the door, but unfortunately, with the bomb's still down, they are going to have to pull off one hell of a retake here. And we've talked about how difficult the B-site is to retake.
it's borderline impossible. Round number 15, they have to go for it, and that nade really does just end things here, especially with the double AWP setup. You see, that
Oh, boy.
Molotov, just about as bad as it gets. It's a cremation for Dexter, as Finnegan needs to find all 4 to finish off this half, and it's just never, ever going to happen. 10-5. A really good first side for Pact, even better than Nuke. On a map like Dust 2, yeah, there's a lot of play to it. We said that they heavily lost the veto stage, but there's a good chance that we go to train at this point.
Definitely looks good, at least from what we've seen in this first half. More to be done, though, in the second half of the game to close it out. I'm going to hold my positivity for Pact right now, just until we see, A, I think how the pistol plays out. That's going to be a huge boon for Pact if they can find it. And B, I want to see some gun rounds from Pact, just to see if they do have what it takes on their CT side, because they did well on the first half, but there were a couple of sloppy moments that was making me think that they may struggle on CT. Particularly towards some of those site takes where it was one player getting a triple kill to open things up. That's going to be a lot harder on a CT side to make work, because you need to trust your A players, your B site players and so on to do their job.
Couple of trades over on B, and Espada seem to have guessed this one correctly. But it doesn't massively connect, but Pact still an opportunity here. C4 goes down and away, and they have to quickly connect with the headshots on this B bomb site. That smoke is actually going to cause some havoc. Of course, maybe a smoke towards window, but with the flank falling on deaf ears, and well, this one definitely not. They do not know that Sobol's coming in from behind. This retake just got way easier, and with Patsy gone, Pact make it look flawless. I don't know where the gaps came from there for Espada. I think that Dexter got, again, outmaneuvered towards upper dark, where Sobol, he could just sneak in behind. You don't see it coming through at this point, but
I don't know why they just assumed that tunnels was clear. I feel like that's got to be one of the most easiest positions I don't know about. You pretty much know that there are 3 areas in the B site that you have to watch for. It's tunnels, window, and door. They've just, every single player on the back of site there has ignored tunnels completely. That's really poor.
I actually think that that's a Dexter mistake. He was the player flanking through B-tons for Espada, so I think he may have given some faulty information. I don't want to give blame where it's not due, but I don't see any other reason other than a faulty call why you'd leave your back exposed to one of the most common flanks in Counter-Strike. There's a trade, but it's favorable for Pact.
B-play comes in. Lunatic trying to do his best work here to hold on to it. Sophic forces the trades back and forward. Fortunately for him, he does do some good work, but still keeps a 1v2 as the bomb dropped on site. Forces him to have to get a little creative about how he can get the win here. Picks up the Galil, tries to take the fight in mid, but not going to happen. It will be just another Pact round, as they should now be able to go 13-5 here. This is looking much, much harder for them to pull off.
Well, 12-5, and you're right on the money there. This now becomes very difficult. Looking like just a very one-sided second map. Espada look completely out, especially on their CT side. The A site defense really didn't have many legs. Now only with blocks once again. Just seems like a done deal. 13-5, almost guaranteed at this point. See that Lunatic also spots this cross, just like jumping all the way past him, finally popping some damage through. But this is still massively readable, easy stuff. When's the nade going to come through though? There it is. Oh, it's a bomb! Look at how much damage that does. Espada, they get completely clattered, and now the scout to finish. He's not missing much anymore. There's the pistol to follow up. It's a beautiful little eco conversion. he's so close to even just getting an ace here. Remember, he does the initial 65 damage onto Patsy. It is against unarmored blocks, but still feel good frags nonetheless.
This is critical now, though. As I said before, Espada put in an impossible predicament here. This would be one hell of a journey back for them, and I don't know if they've got what it takes anymore. This game looking so far gone. Pact only need 3 rounds to get it done. Take us to a third, which I believe is Train. Let's see, Lunatic was chasing them down on short. Might be given an opportunity for an easy pick here. Sophic, 9 HP is what he gets away on. 9 HP.
And that's the advantage of those AK-47s. Those one taps rampant, and Lunatic can't get the job done. They want to force the issue with the M4 first, but yeah, unable to do so. Pact want a change of pace. This guy hits the headshot. That is so disgusting. He's still alive on this A-bomb site, just trying to take shot after shot, and somehow Miniz is still alive. He's changed his angle completely. The element of surprise does get him at least one tag, and there's the frag. He's doing, well, putting in so many frags, so much damage. Sophic, obviously 9 HP from the start. And Miniz versus 2 probably still shouldn't be able to get this one done, but impressive to find this many kills nonetheless. There's an M4 in hand, so he's shaking his head himself. He knows it's not possible, but he wants to give it a good swipe anyway. Finds his first kill then. Levels it back to a 1v1, but he doesn't want to go for it. He changed his mind at the last second.
What a time to come alive. Cutting it close, though. They have a lot of work to do in limited time to get it done. Only 1 round of success so far.
And if Espada aren't going to hit their shots at this point, any decent AWPer is just going to wreck you and ruin you on this map. There's no way to get away from those snipers. And that's the big issue here. It doesn't feel like Espada are hitting their shots. You saw that duel against Finnegan. Finnegan gets about 10 bullets worth of opportunity to take away Miniz, and he still gets killed. That doesn't make sense against the Scout. That's a shot that he should be hitting every day of the week. Miniz should be a dead man. Feels like Espada are many stages and phases behind. They're 6-13 behind. And Pact, yeah, just a gun round here or there will push them over the top.
I think a really interesting time for a pause here for Pact, in fact. Because they know they've lost their first T-side round here. This may not even be their pulls. It may be Espada. We simply don't know, unfortunately. But for Pact, the benefit of having a pause here is actually pretty big. You've only lost 1 round. You know you have a pretty good Dust 2 in general. This just allows them to get together, figure out what they need to do to keep it clean, and from there they can keep pushing forward and try and get this over the line. Seems like a slightly more extended pause, unfortunately. I imagine preaching more into a technical issue now than a tactical. Hopefully whatever the problem is can get resolved pretty quickly and we can get ourselves back into the action. There we go, speak of the devil. It shall appear. 15 seconds to go and we'll be back underway. Espada versus Pact on Dust 2.
Pact genuinely not going to go for a buy in this one. That is very regimented play if that is the case, and well, certainly seems to be. The nade stack is the only investment. They send, well, most of those HEs towards the B bomb site, and they're a little too fast. There's no way that Espada are going to really be walking into that one, especially with passive play like this. There's still a couple of HEs left, but that's pretty much the bulk of the investment. A Deagle and P250s here and there. No real chance for Pact here in round number 20. We'll see the scoreline likely close up 13-7. And that puts Espada, a couple of rounds away from making it interesting. 13 is still a swing away from 16, where it's not just taking one round, is it? You've got to take at least a couple here and there. And if Espada shut down the pace and the momentum, it'll be way easier said than done to close off a game like this. So, well, the instant response. That is a hell of a lot of damage once again. Espada keep walking into that one, and the secondary nade comes to fruition. Another kill on the board. And Sobol, well, he goes down early, but it's cleaned up quite nicely. 13-7.
This is the key round, though, Squid. This is the one we want to be seeing now. What is Pact going to be made of? Hold on a second. Let's look at those odds. 6.93. I feel like they're a little bit on the aggressive side.
Yeah, certainly so. Especially a team like Espada, who can definitely make this comeback happen. This isn't too one-sided. Dust 2 has play on that T side. Espada just showed everybody, I think, maybe the betters have a bit of a short memory. We just saw a massive T side from Espada earlier on Nuke. Can they do the same on Dust 2? Certainly. Right now, it has to be the difference maker, though. And, well, this round goes Pact's way. It almost secures things. Dexter, there's another shot. Maniz is going to walk right into it as well. He hits the one tap required and drops that bomb in a precarious position in the central point of that B bomb site. Now, just watching for these crosses. They have to come through before the smoke dissipates. There's just one more to put down and through. And when is Maniz going to make his next attempt, his next swing onto this site? Probably as that bomb goes down and away. You see, nope, nobody does exactly that. The Molotov holds the flank at bay, and Sobol coming through from the back once again. And it once more doesn't get checked. He's able to find a freebie. It's 14-7. Looking too easy on the retake. A retake which sometimes poses a lot of problems, even in a one-man advantage situation.
Thing is, though, where they're getting really lucky is they're using the tunnels player to either catch them by surprise, or they're making noise in mid to allow the tunnels player to get the flank and completely catch them by surprise. But either way, the key thing there is the phrase surprise. Every single time there is a flank or a push of some variety, the Pact use their advantage to leave Espada with nothing left in the round.
Bit of a one-way show thus far. Nuke was 16-12, I think. Could have been a much more one-sided scoreline than that. I think it was looking at 16-8 at one point, and this could be a very similar scoreline. Espada stuck on 7. They've got to breach and break the double AWP setup if they even want any more rounds in this one. Otherwise, they're going to be stuck without cash in the 23rd, and well, we're pretty much a guaranteed train at that point. 45 seconds left. Espada letting this clock just tick down. See that there's not a lot of utility on the Pact side, apart from a couple of anti-flashes here and there. No Molotovs to split up the push. Just the one smoke on Goofy. And, well, he's almost in no man's land. Move towards long. He just needs to use the smoke to stay alive for as long as possible, especially with such little time on the board, and he plays right around it. That's so intelligent, supporting all of his teammates on the A site, and that prong is gone. We're looking at a, well, guaranteed 15th from Pact with the bomb all out in the open. No opportunity to find these 3 frags. Goofy even going to be hunting for these kills after time. Dexter should not be peeking this. He'd be stuck without any money whatsoever. Oh, what a performance from Pact. And Maniz as well. Look at that. 7 kills, 3 deaths on the entries. That's, well, he's by far leading the pack.
It's really good. And again, we talked about it a little bit sort of towards the tail end of the first half, that we were not sure what to make of him, because he'd been having, even at the start of this series, a game where you're getting a couple nice kills and then whiffing a couple of simple opportunities. It seemed a little bit rough around the edges, but he's really found his form in the tail end of this game, and I think a key piece of what makes Dust 2 a success of Pact so far. So hopefully they can keep it going. I mean, unfortunately, just get beat out there by Dexter in the 1v1, but well, you can't win them all.
I love that instant attempt at the trade. As Goofy nails another headshot right over the top. Dexter and Dima both hitting everything. Darko's only able to find one in response, and that nade doesn't connect. So Lunatic should just try and backtrack with the AWP in this scenario. 1 versus 3s nowadays in CS, just impossible when teams have all their fundamentals nailed in. I remember back in the glory days when nobody would save. People would just go for 1v3s and 2v3s. The good old days. People would leave their front doors open, or at least unlocked, because there was no fear, Flakes. There's no fear on the streets.
It's amazing how much I love betting on esports. It's so cool. What's even better is when I can use Cash Out. Wait, you didn't know about Cash Out? Cash Out is when you can get your stake back even when your bet is going against you. Just one hit and your money is safe. So go to Loot.bet to cash out now.
(15-8). Pact invested it into this one with by no means perfect weaponry, but still enough to get the job done. Most notable difference is that there is no AWP in play. It will be a scout on Maniz, and apart from that, only one rifle as well. Great nade though, Dexter. 22 HP, and he's being chased by an eagle. Sopvik the first to fall as well. Lovely stuff. Goofy just going to keep it rolling. Actually, sorry, hold on a second. How does Goofy?
That didn't just happen. That didn't just happen.
That is ridiculous. He's
Rewind the tape.
Clearly, it's a sequence out of Ninja Warrior right there. Just ducks and weaves through long doors. That's insane.
Wow. If this is the last round as well, I just don't even know what to say. And there's a team kill as well. What is happening right now? The wildest round to perhaps end things. Dexter and Finnegan, 32 HP between the two of them. And Patsy stuck between a rock and a hard place. He has to hit some sensational shots, and it's not going to happen. Game over. We're going to map number 3 here. There's no chance for Finnegan. He's sitting at the top of mid wondering, where did all this go wrong? And I think the answer was their CT side. It was absolutely abysmal. They were only able to chain, I think, 4 CT rounds, or 4 gun rounds in total. With the, it's just not good enough. He's obviously going to go down here. I applaud him for making the effort, but the bomb is on the A bomb site. He's got 25 seconds left, and those flames look like the better option right now. He is so finished. This should be it. He's gunning for those HLTV stats at this point. 16-8. Pact a very one-sided upset on Espada's pick of Dust 2. We're going to a middle-of-the-map pool affair now in the form of train. So make sure to see us in a minute because we'll be right back.
It's amazing how much I love betting on esports. It's so cool. What's even better is when I can use Cash Out. Wait, you didn't know about Cash Out? Cash Out is when you can get your stake back even when your bet is going against you. Just one hit and your money is safe. So go to Loot.bet to cash out now.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much I love betting on esports. It's so cool. What's even better is when I can use Cash Out. Wait, you didn't know about Cash Out? Cash Out is when you can get your stake back even when your bet is going against you. Just one hit and your money is safe. So go to Loot.bet to cash out now.
Welcome back, folks, to the third and final map, the conclusion of Pact versus Espada here on Train. A map that is fairly even keel for both of these teams, to be honest. They both put up some solid results. They've both shown they are comfortable, which means it is the perfect conclusion to this best of three. But Squid, what are your thoughts? We've been going through this map now for just over 2 hours. We've gone through both of their respective map picks, and I've got to say, it's been a really close and exciting best of three.
Yeah, I think that both of those maps were a little bit clear-cut. Like, you kind of knew what was going to happen from the half-time mark. As soon as Espada tried to pick up rounds on their T side, Nuke was pretty much an open gate. They always had that little bit of a decisive lead to close it out. Pact, obviously, a very dominant lead to finish off Dust 2. I hope the trains are closer or fair. I just want to see some close Counter-Strike. But at the end of the day, I've got to favor Espada on this third and final map. I know that they do play a fair bit of Train. I've seen them play it even in best of ones as well. Got a pretty decent record on it. 8-5 wins to losses, with wins all over the board against a number of fairly decent teams. I can get some of them up on my screen right here. It's easier said than done. Yeah, a win against Hellraisers, a win against Crazy, a win against some other teams. Navi Junior, they actually lost against. Forza, they lost against. So you see the tier of opposition, and they're still taking 12, 13 rounds in those series as well. I would say that Navi Junior are a really underrated and decent team. they seem to always take maps against favorites and do decent against fairly one-sided matches against underdogs. I feel like Na'Vi Junior play to their opponent's level, no matter what that level is. Bit like the vintage Virtus Pro roster, if we want to make that comparison. But yeah, getting into this one, I'm excited to get into the action. Obviously, we've still got a knife round to play, and yeah, more Counter-Strike to go.
Well, looks like we are going to be getting into this one very quickly. I can hear the ready up and whatnot coming through, so it's just a case of whichever team hasn't ready up just yet hitting that exclamation mark, and then we.
I think Espada are actually missing a player.
Are they? Oh, they missed one. Yeah, double teamer. To be fair, double teamer wouldn't be a bad thing.
No, that would definitely be an upgrade at the best of times, especially what we saw from him in Dust 2. Fantastic stuff, especially on that defense of the A bomb site, but we'll see if he can continue that into this series. And yeah, he needs to play his same level. Dexter needs to step up, a player with a lot of potential, but it's about unlocking that potential.
That does sound like the classic tick of an e-bot saying, let's get the game started. There we go. Finnegan in the server, which means only one thing, Squid. We're going to get this one underway. The cheeky knife round to start things off.
I think this is quite an important one. Both of these teams are obviously going to be wanting that CT side. These previous maps have been fairly T-sided, with Espada pretty much a wrecking ball on the T side of Nuke, Pact, and even more one-sided force on the T side of Dust 2. I think that Train is going to be the first time we see these CT teams actually start to lock down, and I feel that's where Espada comes into their own. If they win this knife here, which if they don't, Pact are going to get that favorable start. I feel like that is actually a fairly big advantage here. They've got to pick the CT side of a map like Train, and they've done exactly that. That puts Espada in a bit of a tricky spot where, yeah, they've got to play from behind first, and if they can get up to that 6-7 round mark on this T side, they're going to be feeling great about it. I think they're going to have a lockdown CT side, whatever we see here. I'm always a little bit touch and go about putting predictions firmly on the table like that, but to say, hey, I think Train's going to be a CT-sided map isn't really the most ballsy of predictions. We'll see how it comes as we get into this initial pistol.
I love your stance on predictions nowadays, is that you don't like doing predictions. Is that by any chance got to do with the fact that your Loot.bet record for predictions so far is, I believe, 1 to 7?
0 to something.
It's 1 to 7. You did get it right once. You've had one good prediction.
Yeah, this is why I don't do predictions, because they're just always wrong. I'm the ultimate curse.
You have cast a curse your fair share of teams this week, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's voodoo magic. Putting pins into heads. It's not pretty stuff. As soon as you get a prediction from Squid, that's the death sentence for you in a series. It's the same. I always get it wrong. My reads are just so bad. I say, oh, that guy's career is going places. Instantly, of course.
Well, one thing's for certain. Patsy has opened up the site. Let's wait for him to now be headshot. There you go. USP Sabal trying to see if he can maybe force something into play here for the CT side, as he does a good job getting 2 for his troubles, but unfortunately the rest of his team fall short. Leaves Lunatic to do it all himself. Not going to happen. We taken down from above. So Sparta start off well. They get themselves a pistol for their T side.
Yeah, Sobol's in such an impossible situation here. The fact that he gets 2 kills on 12 HP is incredibly impressive. Look at that swipe away headshot. But those kills going Espada's way before that C4 goes down is the real difference maker there on the B bomb site. Very easy to close that out, especially with the flank fully tightening in on them. 1-0. Exactly what they need. I think they lost both of the pistols previously on Dust 2. So a change of pace coming into this third map. And as we said, they need a couple of T-sided rounds here. 6, 7 is what they're aiming for. I think 5 is satisfactory, but 6 or 7, I think they'll be feeling great about going into that CT half, especially if they get off to a good start. Still a bit of play in it, of course. We've seen very good T-sides from start to finish from Pact, but I wouldn't give them the advantage if this ends up being a 6-round T-side. So Bolt, a couple of accurate shots through, and the flank, well, it's not going to find anything. As Sotva gets spotted, he has to retort to this B bomb site through Pop Dog. It just means that there's no backtrack in place. This is going to be a pretty standard retake scenario, and Minis, well, he continues to hit these shots on this third map of the day. Remember, a very slow start from him, finally starting to wake up on Dust 2 and put back to bed by Dima. 2-0 for Espada, exactly what should happen in a round like this. It'll be the eco coming through in round number 3 for Pact. Don't really have anything to work with. Just taking this demon away, surely, before this round is said and done. So if Darko can escape, that seems like a conclusion. As the bomb explodes, 2-0.
Has to be said, Sabal doing a great job with the Eagle there to get 2. Just doing that damage helps make Espada's life just that little bit harder when it comes to growing their economy in the later stages of this half. You see here opting for SMGs over some rifles. The goal there is just to use them to build up even more bank. Espada realizing just how important money is. On a map like Trade, it is really critical because a full buy with good utility and good rifles is infinitely better than a slapdash buy with a couple of rifles, a couple of weapons thrown in, basic utility with lots of gaps. The difference is really clear because utility is such a huge piece of Train, especially those Molotovs.
Would be an easy rollover, a walkover on perhaps the A bomb site, especially with the defenders just stacked over towards B here. It should be an incredibly easy take. Darko's obviously just got the pistol in hand, so what can he really do? Even if he finds 2 headshots here, you still can't favor this Pact side unless the rotate comes fully on and through. Espada have actually let off the pressure for a couple of seconds. That's allowed to rotate in. And now this becomes a little more dangerous as the rotates are in place, but still should be dealt with by these rifles. You see Dexter just spraying them away. A couple of low HP players should even survive here. As Sobol's flank, this is the only difference maker in this round, the only question mark. And it does look like Espada are just hyper aware of this one coming through. Sobol find one, but as he tries to grab this AK, what is the chance that he gets out of this one unscathed? Wanting to grab the smoke is a little bit of cover and unable to do so. 3-0, the CT squad wiped out, and of course that AK is retrieved as well. That's a nice headshot. Not as nice as a replay though. Someone's having a lot of fun on the replay desk.
I thought it's actually really fun to do the replays.
Someone's found a new toy. Surely it's the easiest job in the world as well.
That's definitely harsh.
You work like 20 seconds every 5 minutes.
So that's just savage. You got to respect the hard work of a replay operator. They're just as important as everyone else in the production cycle. You're always looking for the moments. You got to cut it up. You know how intense it is taking a good clip, cutting it up in 10 seconds, and then giving it back to your production team to use. It's serious business.
Pretty easy.
Wow.
When you compare it to other jobs that people actually have, like being a replay operator is easier than being like a gynecologist.
Well, I didn't know we were comparing gynecology to replay operation today, but okay. How this conversation's concerned. I thought you could really go anywhere with that. You could say, oh, being a replay operator is nothing compared to being, I don't know, a director or a camera operator or something like that. But no, gynecology is apparently the discussion point we're going down. How the hell have we ended up there? I just do not know.
That's a difficult job. I was
Please
originally gonna
enlighten
go
us
for
all
the
at
guy
home.
who like tests bombs in real life, being that guy. But I thought I couldn't think of a way to make it fit, so I had to just go straight for the gynecologist.
Please enlighten me. Why is a gynecologist such an intense, complex job?
That's such a baity question. I guess you just have to look at a lot of manky stuff, don't you? Because no one's going into to see a gynecologist without something wrong. It's like, let's say that like my leg's hurting, I'll go to the doctor because it's hurting. I'm trying to be very politically correct here, Flakes. There's so many words that I want to say. Like, you've got to look at a lot of manky stuff.
I'm really enjoying watching you dance around the topic that you've inflicted upon yourself. You did this to yourself.
I told a story on this broadcast a couple of weeks ago where I left an empty pot of Ben and Jerry's on the side and went on holiday. Week later came back and it was that is what being a gynecologist is like, Flakes. You want to know the truth.
Is it? Wow. I mean, I assume you're talking from experience.
No, I'm not a gynecologist.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, folks, what can I say? Squid likes to bring you the biggest insights, the most professional of input. When you're watching your daily dose of Counter-Strike for the afternoon.
Yeah,
Darko.
welcome to Loot.bet Season 7.
It's the season where you learn all about yourself, not just Counter-Strike, but more.
Learn about the world, learn about literally the ins and outs of the human body and my brain.
A worrying sight, to be honest.
Well, think about how much of the body we've covered already. We've done finger measurements this broadcast. Just this series, not even this broadcast. This series, we've done finger measurements. We've talked about some pretty rough subjects.
Where could this broadcast possibly be heading next? Do enlighten me. What's your next daily topic?
There's so much. That's the thing with casting is you can kind of, I know that it does annoy people who just like want to watch the game and everything, but you can kind of go anywhere with it and start up conversations or whatever. I think that's one of my favorite parts of the job, where you're kind of trying to watch what you say, but at the same time, you touch on subjects.
Well, the goal is certainly to entertain all of our wonderful viewers at home. That's definitely the plan, at least. Not so sure if your Gynecology 101 sessions
will doesn't look like I'm achieving it very well.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the topic that necessarily really resonates with Twitch chat the most, but well, I think let's just focus on the game at hand. 4-1.
That is a good idea.
I think so too. Trying to bring things back into a bit more of a Counter-Strike friendly format. Let's put it like that.
This is the important round for Pact right now. Double AWP on the board, 4 rifles, and a kill up. If Espada can turn the tide, it might be off the back of that frag. Yes, Finnegan goes down to 9 HP. With Dexter also falling, yeah, Pact firm favourites in number 6. Where did that... Well, yeah, no, Lunatic's got the secondary AWP. I lost track of that one for a second. Of course, Pact. Yeah, just a pretty split approach. This is now quite a difficult round for Espada to find. It has to be all off the back of this firepower. Maybe if Maniz gets taken down towards Ivy, there's the opportunity to rotate elsewhere. But the big goal here for Espada is trying to find an opening pick without one of these heavy HP players going down. If you can bait Finnegan into a position to get a 2-for-1 trade, just trading him, then yeah, you find yourself in a very doable spot. And Patsy is trying to do exactly that. You see, he is changing up the angles. Oh, and there's an instant headshot. That was so damn fast. With Sopvig going down as well. That actually puts Pact back firmly in contention. Patsy just trying to negotiate his way around this bomb site. And with Finnegan gone, it leaves him all on his lonesome. A second secured for Pact.
Starting to find their value here on the CT side. Already a second round lock and key. If they can get themselves a third, then they may just crack the Espada economy. And from there, well, the world is their oyster, basically. They're going to be flying high, living private jet lifestyles as they jet themselves up to 4 rounds on the board. And from there, look to keep on pushing forward. So it could be quite a good situation for them, but it will come down to round 7 here. They have to find that round. And in fact, Espada going to make their life a little easier. They decided, rather than buying, to go for a half buy with some pistols and a smoke, and instead look to get the full buy perfect with utility and whatnot in round 8, which this ties into what I talked about earlier on in this game, just how important that utility was. Rather than full buying and having not the greatest of buys, they've took the half buy just to get the plant, because they think that's a better situation for them, which shows you just the value of that utility. Actually getting some good kills here as well, in fact, making this a costly round for Pact, even though it should be a guaranteed win.
Really a massive opportunity in this one. Obviously, getting the bomb down puts a lot of cash in Espada's favour. They're going to have bags of the stuff going into round number 8. Obviously, off the back of not a massively decisive buy in this one. See Dexter, $7,300.
It's amazing how much I love betting on esports. It's so cool. What's even better is when I can use Cash Out. Wait, you didn't know about Cash Out? Cash Out is when you can get your stake back even when your bet is going against you. Just one hit and your money is safe. So go to Loot.bet to cash out now.
Downside for Pact is that off the back of the half buy from Espada, does mean that now they go into this one guns blazing a full buy, looking to close this one out quick and easy and keep the lead from Pact. And already this round looking very, very good. Espada roll onto the B site, drop down the key players on the site itself, then bag themselves a plant for their troubles. There's more to follow. Goofy and Lunatic, the only 2 left standing. Goofy hits the deck, leaving it just down to one singular Polish man to try and do it all. Not going to happen. He'll have to think about saving that AWP. And even that proves to be a bit of a hard sell. Will get a kill for his troubles, but has to be careful not to hang around too long here. Saving that weapon, by far the most critical thing he could do in this round.
Yes, certainly. Even though doing damage has some importance, of course, Espada doesn't really have too much cash rocking and rolling at this point. Doesn't negate the impact of perhaps losing this AWP at some moment late in the round. Just the risk-reward there doesn't all add up. He saved it nonetheless. 5-3. It does feel like Espada are controlling the pace of this game so far. As soon as they need a round on the board, they're able to grab it, and it's keeping that Polish economy really low. They're forced to go for quite a dodgy buy in number 9. The MP9 comes through, and the Famous is actually not as bad as I thought. I didn't know if there was a Deagle in play, but there is, but it's to complement the double AWP of Lunatic. Now it's down to Espada to try and do the damage once again. That's lovely from Miniz, aided by the flash and able to find a 2-for-1 trade. That's his job absolutely done. He only had the MP9 in hand, so he's either looking to find a 1-1 trade and eliminate one of these rifles, maybe even steal a rifle, but any kill in that scenario is just worth its weight in gold. Two players just waiting for the pounce, and the Famous, just to the right side, only finds the 1-to-1 trade this time, and that gives away the B bomb site. A retake now in progress. Let's look through that smoke. We've got a glimpse, but he's out in the open, gets taken away, and Dima soon to follow. Espada can't find number 6. But these rounds do seem close. They seem to have opportunities in them. And yeah, maybe if Dexter just finds maybe a headshot through that smoke, it makes things a lot easier. Opens up the half plant.
Look at this with the SMG as well. A key moment there for Mini. He's just running in face first. The old MP7. A great weapon for that sort of range. It really is. One of my favourite SMGs actually in the game. That said, 5-4. Pact keeping it nice and close here. Let's see, no early duels so far. Pact being very passive, but likewise Espada as well, actually not giving them any fights at all. Just all stacked up outside Ivy, waiting for either the round to tick down themselves or to begin a slow burning push.
I really like this from Espada, just whittling time off the clock, allowing Pact to expend a little bit of that utility. You see that the poles, they're not getting flustered in this scenario. They've kept a couple of these incendiary grenades in hand, a couple of smokes here and there as well. So a little bit of utility to hold back this push when it inevitably comes. That combined with the double AWP setup should be a bit of a recipe for disaster on paper for Espada. And the clock now becomes a bit of an issue. There's one of the nades straight on in. It doesn't do a lot of damage, and the AWP gets traded through, but time still of the essence. Benny's central point of this bomb site, and the CT's finding kills left, right, and center. Only 6 seconds left. They need to get the running shoes on right now, and Benny's just hasn't been spotted. Finnegan gunning for this kill. 1 second left, and Finnegan finds it. It's Galil time on the A bomb site to secure 6.
Mini is going to be kicking himself after that one. He just had to stay alive for a second longer. Just had to pull off some acrobatics, duck, weave, dip, dive, pull off your best Matrix impression just to try and survive. But a second to spare. Kill comes through, and it is going to be an Espada round. How heartbreaking that's going to be for Pact here. Leaves them in this really uncomfortable predicament now where they forced up yet again with a bunch of pistols, a handful of SMGs, limited utility. Requires them to kind of get aggressive here, which they do, but it bears no reward.
By the way, pay close attention to that. That's actually a punishing nade from Espada. They've noticed that in these half-buy rounds, Meniz has been constantly getting aggressive towards the B bomb site. They throw a preliminary nade to take half of his HP away. That is going to not just take half of the health off the board, but it will stunt and slow Meniz from doing that in future rounds. The Deagle's doing decent enough damage, but Sobol still a 1 versus 3 and shouldn't be done. This anti-eco or anti-force buy, an absolute masterclass for Espada. 7 on the board, and this is where they're going to start to get rolling flakes. This will be an eco for Pact, and the Poles are in real trouble. I said just half an hour ago that Espada are looking for 6 or 7. They've taken the upper bounds of that limit, and they're about to go beyond to 8, win the half, and perhaps more towards double digits.
Yeah, puts them in really good position, doesn't it? To put it simply, double digits. T-side train, you are happy days. You really are. Espada will be very comfortable with how this is playing out so far. You can see the odds falling out of play here for Pact. 5.36 to 1.12. Of course, if you want to take Loot.bet up on those odds, you can get involved with some extra benefits as well thrown on in. Use code MANGO or code LEAGUE for some extra deposit bonus bets, among other things. And also, there is an iPhone every week being given away through their challenges and quest system. So do check out Loot.bet to get involved in all of that action. More information, of course, available within the banners below the stream. And do remember, folks, at the end of the day, part of the fun is knowing your limits. When the fun stops, it's time to stop.
Pact need to push the brakes on this first half right now. I don't know if a tactical timeout is required before we get into the final couple of rounds coming through. But they're far away from taking that 5th and 8 on the board. Yeah, this is a really good half for Espada right now. There's every opportunity that they can take double digits. One more gun round in the bag, and we've got an incredibly one-sided half. There's still an opportunity for Pact to take 7, which is a good enough platform. If their T side is decent, they get that pistol round off to a good start. If they're actually able to get some momentum going. I did say, though, that Espada are probably going to have a decent CT side on this map. So if that prediction holds up, it'll be the first time for everything. But, I mean, they need to get 8. That's not a massively tall order, especially on train.
Yeah, this sets up Espada in a really good position now to close out this game at a 2-1 favour. Looking for more as they crunch on out on towards B, and this works out well as well. Dima, the entry frag king, finding not only one but a chance at a second as well, supporting Sophic as the kill comes through onto Lunatic. That leaves close B site clear and back trains as well. Only a slight pressure from Pact as they are pretty much smoked off and picked off by the Orcs and Rifles respectively. Goofy becomes last man standing. There is very little that can be done.
Yeah, and it goes from bad to worse. 9, possibly 10 coming up as well. Even with the M4A1S saved on through, there's just no way to get the job done here. 5. It still feels like a bit of a distant dream. And there's 9 on the board for Espada. It should be 10 here, especially with with no real money going into this 14th.
Do love a bunch of pistols sat in Pop Dog. It's always a good combination on train, isn't it?
Yes, it's not a good combination for this CT side. Like, maybe they can bait somebody into a crossfire. Maybe Espada are going to make the mistake and jump right down. It's one of those angles that you can't really get preliminary information before going through any of those peaks and minis. There's an opportunity for 2 kills there, but realistically with pistols, it's so difficult to get the job done. Still more than a minute on the board, and well, the rifle's starting to come out on top. Look at this angle. It's so brutal. Now it's AK time for Darko, as he cannot connect any more bullets through that smoke, but I love the option. And now the bomb needs to go down and away. I like this plant spot as well. Gives his teammate, that Sotvig from heaven, a lot of opportunity to just prevent that from being defused, even if Finnegan goes down on this B-bomb site. And even if he doesn't, he should be able to break in a kill or so. And wow, Lunatic, how does he find that pickup? The smoke goes down and away. There's no defuse kit. He needs to hit just one bullet here, and instead it's the nade to doink in and take away Lunatic out of the server. There's not enough time now on the defuse, so Darko, he'll be just a second off, and he'll get sprayed down nonetheless. Double digits from Espada, and that's before we've even hit the half-time mark.
Very nicely played with a nade as well thrown in just to guarantee that kill. Reduces any of the risk of Lunatic being able to find that bait kill. So really well played in the end. And as you said, it pushes Espada forward now. 10 on the board, double digits. A really, really strong T-side. The fact of the matter is they can get an 11-4 T-side train, which you're laughing if you're pulling it off. That's insane.
Yeah, I think they're smiling from ear to ear at even 10. I think 11's just a cherry on top here. I think it's going to take something incredibly special for Espada to falter in this third map. I just can't see it happening at this point. And that would mean 3 pretty decisive maps. All going, yeah, firmly each team's way. Team like Pact massively step up on Dust 2, and the other 2 maps, they really bring nothing to the table. See, Knees and Pact are just missing every single shot. He's got 7 kills, so it's not the worst performance in the world, but you see, it's just not the same Pact that we saw half an hour ago on that second map of the day. They were hitting everything. The Knees, he was getting 2 kills in almost every single scenario. The 1v1s all going his way, and 40 seconds left on the boards. And Sobol, it's time to perhaps walk into his demise for the final time on this CT side. Espada, a pistol round will put them over the top. And Pact, they need a legendary comeback on the third and final map.
Kind of searching for options in my mind of what Pact could even do to bring us back in the second half, and honestly, the results are pretty limited. Not only would they need a pistol, I feel like that's a sure thing, but they would need to have an impeccable T-side, which, yes, in this tournament, in the grand scheme of things, majority of the maps have been T-sided, just seemingly to the level of CS that we've seen. It's been very loose, almost sort of puggy Counter-Strike, where individual play on that T-side has come out ahead of CT almost every time. But in this game, I think we've seen a bit more of the normality that we'd expect on Train, and that shouldn't be leaving a T-side so far ahead. So I'm worried about Pact here, honestly. I think we could be looking at a very quick conclusion to this best of 3.
I think you touch on a really interesting point there, and I think it comes down to how a lot of these teams practice. This looks like, well, this round is definitely up in the air, so let's touch on that point just after it's all said and done as well. The blocks get grinded up. Sobol also falls. It's so convincing on the B-bomb site. But yeah, if a tournament is all T-sided, I feel like, isn't the inherent reason behind that because these teams have been practicing just their T-sides? When you go into a practice server, it feels like teams do just routinely run their T-sided executes. They try and tighten them up as much as possible. And maybe there's a lack of practice on that CT side. Yeah, you get the opportunity to scrim, but when are teams really getting out their best tactics in scrimmages? It doesn't generally happen. That's when you're trying to train your aim. Maybe you do a couple of innovative things, but you're not throwing away your best tactics in the practice servers. And I wonder, ESEA have just come out with that new feature where you can rinse and repeat executes onto bomb sites. I wonder if that is going to actually change the way teams practice, where, right, B-site Mirage, let's go, and they run the same sort of execute 5 times in a row, and it trains a CT defense to deal with those executes. I think that's interesting. I just don't know if the T-sided balance, since that doesn't happen at the top of the scene, is due to a mismatch of how this tier of talent trains.
It's definitely an interesting discussion. I think it's hard to have all the answers, to be honest. It just seems to be how things play out at this level. I think also could be just a nature due to the skill level of the teams involved. Typically, you see some very highly talented individual players, but they're still finding their feet in terms of how to play as a team. That's something they're always working on. So perhaps that plays a part of it too. Pact really trying to make the best of this round. Did a pretty good job of it too. Finnegan last man standing. Will be headshot by the Galil, and that will secure a 5th on the board here for Pact.
And I guess when we're talking about some of the best teams of all time, you always kind of think about their CT sides, and I'm talking about the most consistent teams of all time over the last years. Maybe MIBR might have been a bit of an outlier in that respect, where there was a lot more play on both sides. And yeah, there definitely have been teams who have play on the T and CT side. Obviously, you have to have that to be the best team in the world. But as CT, you're playing a reactive style. It all comes down to that communication, that teamwork, knowing how to move around these setups. And I think that they're very different skills playing on T and CT side. I think that's what makes CS such a beautiful game as well, is you have got that polarization of the two sides, where it's not like other games where, right, yeah, you're attacking, you're defending, but they play out quite similarly. It's who hits their shots. CS feels a lot more regimented in that style and a lot more established, where they play incredibly differently.
The most valuable thing here for Pact, though, is they kept it clean. Not only is it a round win, but it's a clean one too. Best thing they can do right now on their T side is focus on getting each round won and as clean as possible. Build up that economy and really start to just try and overwhelm Espada here. Go 6, 7, 8, 9, all while building up to that 16k mark. Just make yourself as rich as possible, so that then if a mistake hits, and I say if, let's be honest, it's more likely when. Every team has it. It's very rare you see a team pull off a perfect comeback from, say, even a 6-12 to 12-12. When that mistake does hit, you can then respond quickly because you have the money in the bank to make sure you don't just get ground out of the game. So that's going to be important here. They started strong at least. This round should be another opportunity for them to do just that. Again, almost doubling up their economy, should be able to get to really 7k a player here, I'd imagine. Providing they don't let these USPs do anything too wild.
Should be a fairly uninteresting round, all things considered. Finnegan tries to spice things up with the Deagle. And Sotvig does search for it, but I think it's vanished. Dima as well. Wow, he steps up. And now these USPSs become a real threat, especially with the flank in full progress. Patsy is going to be right behind Miniz here. There go the taps, and a Galil to boot. And now Goofy has to do it all in the 1 versus 2. There's the smoke. It bounces awkwardly, but finally lands in a fairly decent position. Still the rotating wrap coming in, and I think he spotted Dexter there. Looked a little bit uncoordinated. And with Patsy changing around his angle, it's going to be straight to this B bomb site. Goofy's played this perfectly at this point. Patsy's going to be hot on his heels, though. And this all comes down to speed. Comes down to how fast Patsy is actually going to be onto this site. And, well, lots of noise has been made. And without body armor, should be easy for Goofy to close. And he does. There's number 7, but it didn't come without its difficulties here for Pact. And that clean round you were talking about before has completely gone to waste there in number 19 as they have to go for full reinvestment up against the full buy of Espada.
Far from ideal, but I'll have to make the best of it. And this is where they really do find themselves now getting tested in these rebuy scenarios. Curious to see what the play will be. But many options, to be honest, to how they want to approach this. But it looks like they want to go for... Well, they've got options of wrapping Ivy's Pop Dog into A. They're actually completely abandoning Ivy, though. And Pop Dog as well seems to be something they're giving up. So perhaps a team main play they're looking for. I love this boost from Darko, but unfortunately not netting anything just yet. Finally, they'll pick off Soptic just as the smoke fades, but this is when the mollies strike back. Damage done. As Dexter pushes up, should be good for 1. In fact, Darko securing the trade as Maniz and Sobol find picks of their own. This is huge.
How does Espada not come out favorably in that scenario? So many shots whiffed and missed, namely Dexter, also Sopvig. Many mistakes made in Pact. Now get closer into this game. Dima 1 versus 3, which looks practically impossible, especially with Sobol claiming the whole of the B-bomb site. They know that this is a clear avenue of approach. They want to be careful, of course, that they're not going to get that bomb taken away from them. So, taking all of these corners convincingly, but now the C4 will get on through, and it'll be an easy, probably a fairly open plant here as well. Dima locked out of the action. And what's he going to do here? Maybe save this M4. Of course, Espada are stuck without any real cash going into number 21. They've got $850 between the lot of them. That is before the loss bonus comes in, but it's not going to be that high. I think $2,900, something in that range. Pact doing a great job. And we were talking about the comeback. What are the win conditions? Obviously, the pistol round. Breaking that economy is the main win condition after taking those initial couple. After an 11-round Espada T-side, you just can't allow that money to bloom at all. If you allow Espada onto an early 14, then you have to do everything, a streak of 10, 11, 12, right there and then. As of this point, they need 7 out of the next 10 to take it to OT. 8 out of 9 would take them over the top here.
Pact should have an easy 9th, and from there, only 3 rounds to difference.
Closer than we might have initially anticipated. Getting deja vu back to Nuke, where a couple of rounds clawed back, but maybe too little too late. Still a comfortable slight lead for Espada. If they lose this gun round, then yeah, it starts to get tighter. Then it's all to play for, but Espada, if they can take a round or 2 right now, they're still going to be in that comfort zone where they've got that buffer. They can still lose a couple and feel like they're still favoured. Right now, that lead is massively diminished. This has been 5 in a row for this Pact side. Yeah, 5 in a row after losing the pistol. Dima, there's the first, an all-important entry frag. And now Pact have to play from behind, something that they don't have a massive wealth of experience in doing throughout this final map of the day. They've been hitting all of the initial headshots right off the bat. With plenty of time on the board, that's not going to be the issue. The clock isn't forcing them into a tough, tricky scenario. Yeah, instead it's just the full HP 5 versus 4. And they're playing it incredibly slowly here, waiting for Espada to make a mistake. Of course, that's not happening. You see how passively, especially the B defense is situated on these sites, but Yeah, also towards A, not giving them even an inch to work with. Yes, the crossfires are established, but how quick does it actually nail a shot? And Goofy doesn't have a clean entrance to A either. So as the clock ticks down to 30, Espada turtle down on the defense, and well, there's the closer. Goofy, it gets traded. It's Dima once again, and this is getting shut away for the first time this half. Espada, they're about to take their first CT-sided gun round.
Dima definitely made to work for it too. Triple kill for him in the end to pull that one out the bag. And it has to make you think, if that's the first round they found and how much of a struggle it's been, how consistent is it going to be now? Are we going to roll into 23 here? Are they going to bag themselves 14, 15 and we're over and done with? Or is that a one-off and will Pact be able to continue the fight? You know, talking about the economy early on as being a key piece of Pact, they have done a good enough job to be able to ensure that they can rebuy in a scenario just such as this. So they do have the opportunity to take this to 10 and from there start to build things up even closer, if they have the play to back it up.
As I said, maintaining that comfort lead here, extending it to 4. Pact not really within striking distance right now. Yes, if they take this gun round, they instantly close that distance, but towards the B-bomb side, step into Finnegan's M4 once more, and there's the AWP to clean away another one. A one-man advantage as the Molotov comes through. That locks Goofy into place where he can't really backtrack as of planting that C4 down in the open. Sobel just trying to close this distance, and he does spot out a single, but this is all about timing, all about positioning. What do Espada check, and what does Sobel get away with? He might be able to take away this AWP, and that opens up the whole bomb site. Only 20 seconds left, and Espada need these kills right here, right now. Meniz goes for the swing, but it's right into Patsy. 14 on the board, and that comfortable lead continues. Espada 1 away from series points.
This is when it starts to get worrying as well.
It's
Pact
amazing how much I
spending.
love betting on esports. It's so cool. What's even better is when I can use Cash Out. Wait, you didn't know about Cash Out? Cash Out is when you can get your stake back even when your bet is going against you. Just one hit and your money is safe. So go to Loot.bet to cash out now.
Nice pick from Meniz, capturing Dima as he tries to line up a smoke there, just not quite aware of the push coming through. Likewise, Patsy, unaware as well, but somehow he makes it stick. Not only one, but a chance at a second as well. He will find himself chased down from all angles, though. No support from his team at all. They basically hung him out to dry.
Numbers close, and Dexter's able to at least pip one kill back through. Still a 3 versus 2, and Dexter just not quick enough for that shot. I love that peek from Sobel, so coordinated, along with that flashbang as well. Dexter's just caught all the way out in the open, and to take him out of the server is so important. 50 seconds left. To no man's land, and well, there's the peek outwards. Goofy does heavy damage. Finnegan only 8 HP, and he's got to take the trade on to the AWP first. Meniz already 2 kills in this round. The flank might actually be the better play of the two, as Finnegan can certainly get himself into a nicer spot here behind the enemy lines, and he needs to hurry up. The longer that he waits, the more the chance Pact are going to check this backwards angle, and now this becomes doable. The nade right over the top, doesn't quite connect. Goofy just about escapes, and now the smoke on the ground. Goofy pops a couple of shots through, and it's pretty much who hits this first bullet. Finnegan 2 HP,
3 HP.
and Goofy's too quick.
Oh my goodness, that could not have been any closer. If that nade doesn't hit, I think he loses that duel. That's insane. That could not have been any closer.
this last kill here. We're seeing all of the rest. And yeah, look at how fast this response is. It's not before Maniz finds that one bullet, but wow. Could have been game over right there. You often say flakes, Counter-Strike, it's tight margins. Those are some kills.
They're clearly going to give this a go, looking for the classic ninja defuse, it seems. Smoke on the bomb, defuse soon to follow as well. Someone needs to let through the smoke, and they will pretty easily as well. Sockpick becomes last man standing and can barely get away.
Look at those openings from Goofy right there. They're so precise. I know it's not against a full buy, but it is a force and a must win. And that's where he starts to become a real interesting player. I'd say that most of the teams, he was on this old Pride roster, Goofy, and I just feel like he was the best player in that team for the longest amount of time. And now he's playing with a team with a little more experience as well. Steamer, though, leading the charge in terms of those opening frags. See, everybody else fairly close behind. Not a humongous lead here. He's been the most aggressive player. More deaths than kills in the openers. Showing that he's putting himself in all of those unfavorable positions. And yeah, if you're finding 5 kills off the back of it, that's certainly good enough. Pact, they should be able to close the gap. 12-14. And once more, they're just one step away from closing up the gap. But at every point, Espada has been slightly ahead. And this is literally just an identical carbon copy of what we saw long ago on Nuke. Espada just maybe slowly closing things out. A couple of stumbling blocks before the finishing line. And it still feels like they're going to get there. But this is Pact's time to shine. If they're going to steal away this series, and this would be a steal, it has to be right now in the next gun round.
Espada, all they can do is hope for the best of this now, right? Try and do some damage with a few deagle shots, see if you can maybe find a pick or two, grab an AK for your troubles, but that should be about it, really. You can see the solo B play come through, and it will be a 1D from Dima, so a solid start at least. But all that will do is basically confirm the Pact that, yeah, let's collapse on A. And they'll start that push. Now, because they've been a little slower here, Espada have been able to rotate into position, which could mean that a well-timed frag on the bomb carrier could mean the round, but that is me clutching at some very distant straws. The bomb was dropped, but 15 seconds to hold on to it, it's simply not going to happen. Espada will fall out just by firepower alone.
Yeah, the only thing going for Espada was the slow pace of Pact and the time working to their favor. Up against those AKs, especially when you haven't got a buy of your own, and Pact already clearing the choke points of that A-bomb site. Pact have already jumped the tallest hurdle. And now they're only 2 behind. Keep saying it, striking distance of closing this series up once again. It feels like they've been behind for hours at this point, so... Espada, can they finally close it out? The next 2 gun rounds will be decided. They've got to take one of them at least. And with the Pact money still fairly low, it's them in a really tricky position without any loss bonus if they lose it. Darko trying to ensure that doesn't happen. Patsy falls first, and Darko's just going to continue. Here come the headshots on the A-bomb site, and it still doesn't look like anyone's looking for him. He finally gets found. And now 3 versus 4. Espada with a little bit of pace. Dexter trying to get a little more aggressive here with the coverage of that pop dog smoke. He wants to take a risk and up against Goofy. Oh, it works out. There's the AK trade. And on the B bomb site, that's where the 2 defenders are holding. And Pact should surely know this. They're going to try and wrap around Dexter, but there's another headshot. And Espada, no way can they steal this one. A 2 versus 2 to make the difference.
Dima. What a champion. How the hell does he get away with that one? 2 kills, lock and key in such a crucial moment as well.
I feel like Pact have a mentality issue with closing these games, Flakes. Looks like that was a very differently poised round there. Now, look, there's no double peak in that final 1v2 scenario. All of the time they've been fast, running and gunning, getting that bomb down in the early portions of the round, not getting taken care of by these weird duels. You see, Dexter's really the point man there to get Espada back into that scenario. And again, maintaining this 3-round lead. This is exactly what we saw on Nuke. Identically.
The problem for them now is how the hell do you hold on to this game 15-12? You've got a scrappy force up, and the play just doesn't seem to be there.
So one final blast at the B bomb site, and Finnegan, he needs a kill or so here, and maybe to catch this bomb crossing might be the ideal scenario, but unable to do so, and he's fully flashed right now. Darko's going to close the distance with that SMG, and it's even trading at the start, but this bomb down applies the pressure on the knees. That's a beautiful headshot to try and close Espada out of this one. You see Sotvig, he's going to wrap his way out of B. Dima probably doesn't want a part of this either. They need to save these rifles, Flakes. Oh, there's no point in going for these peaks.
It's simply just not worth it.
Playing a massively aggressive stance. Yes, that clearance of the front of the A bomb site is key, but nobody's going to be pushing Ivy in